Transmigrating to the Douluo continent, you found yourself reborn as a dragon egg, meticulously incubated by Tian Xue, using her angelic soul power for 6 long years. On the day you broke free from your shell, the egg white splattered across her bed. The newborn black dragon, moments after emerging, lunged directly towards that pristine white expanse. Tian Xue seized you by the nape and lifted you, her gaze falling upon your serpentine body. Eagle claws, deer-like horns, and form covered in black scales. You then struck her arm with a furious movement. A golden light flickered in the depths of her eyes as she curved her lips into a smile. "Little Hai, are you hungry? Mother will fetch you some milk now." You were served 6 large bowls of milk, so bland that it seemed even plain water could offer more sustenance. Yet she herself indulged in feasts of large fish and succulent meats daily, and upon her return, the enticing aroma of meat still clung to her lips and teeth. Cuddled in her embrace, you detected that tantalizing, savory aroma. A singular thought consumed your mind. After 6 years of drinking in the egg, and now 3 consecutive meals of bland milk since hatching, today, by any means necessary, you would open your mouth and take a bite of her. In the very next second, you lunged forward with explosive force, ramming your head directly into Tian Xue's lips. The savory taste burst upon your tongue, a sensation that utterly stunned this angelic young mistress. She forcefully detached you from her mouth, her exquisite face flushing crimson. Gritting her teeth, she spat out each word. "Little Hai, you lecherous dragon." Meanwhile, you contentedly licked the lingering savory taste from the corner of your mouth, then demurely crawled to the milk bowl, feigning utter pitifulness. In your heart, only a single word echoed. "Worth it." She stood frozen, her hand covering her mouth, as a single thought replayed incessantly in her mind. "My first kiss. Stolen by a dragon." Receiving her furious gaze, your dragon body involuntarily trembled. Hastily and timidly you lowered your head, inching closer to the milk bowl, and slowly began to drink, occasionally stealing a glance at her, fearing that in her fury she might indeed turn you into dragon meat. You conceded that your action had been somewhat audacious, yet you harbored no true guilt. After all, who was to blame but her, for only providing milk daily and no substantial meat? Fortunately, you were merely a nascent dragon. She had painstakingly incubated you for 6 years, and deep affection had long since taken root. Moreover, what could a creature so recently born truly comprehend? You were simply following instinct, drawn by the scent in your quest for sustenance. As night descended, Tian Xue, true to her word, returned with a simmering pot of stewed meat. The potent aroma of the meat, melding with the rich, fatty broth, instantly made your maw water profusely. After enduring years of bland sustenance, your stomach finally experienced true satisfaction. Consuming meat was, beyond doubt, far superior to merely drinking milk. You devoured both the meat and the broth clean, and your entire being surged with newfound vigor. Unexpectedly, you soared upwards, capable of leaving the ground and flying for a considerable duration. Tian Xue observed this transformation, her gaze subtly deepening. Earlier that day, she had learned from the snake-lance Douluo that you still struggled significantly, even with basic flight, yet she never anticipated that a single meal of meat could grant you such unhindered flight. Your growth rate utterly surpassed all predictions. Indeed, a true scion of the dragon clan. In the future, she resolved to procure even more high-grade spirit beast meat. Once you fully matured, you would become an invaluable aid to her. Yet, before that could come to pass, she needed to rigorously ascertain the loyalty of this black dragon. For if she painstakingly nurtured an ungrateful ingrate, she would become the ultimate laughingstock. "Little Hai, come to mother's embrace." Tian Xue extended her arms and gently beckoned you to fly towards her. You coiled yourself upon her chest, obediently nuzzling your head against her. "I have heard you possess the ability to spew water. Come, demonstrate it for mother." She pinched the nape of your neck, gently but firmly turning your head towards the large bowl of meat placed in the distance. A low growl rumbled within you. To be commanded to spit. Where, then, is the venerable dignity of the dragon clan? Hoot, you thought indignantly. You thrashed in furious indignation, utterly refusing to cooperate in the slightest. Tian Xue's brows subtly furrowed. "This little creature certainly possesses a fiery spirit," she mused, "but it can be gradually refined and guided." Her voice softened considerably. "Little Hai, if you do not heed mother's words, then tomorrow there will be no more meat for you." This declaration struck your very core, your ultimate weakness. Consuming meat not only satiated your profound cravings, but also enabled your cultivation to advance with astonishing speed. And truly, you harbored no desire to return to a daily diet of mere milk. Having no other choice, you opened your mouth and condensed water elemental energy, a stream of it spraying into the crystal bowl. Tian Xue reached out and rubbed your head, the corners of her eyes curving upwards. "Now that's being obedient. Come here, and spray another mouthful for mother. Spray it on her grandmother." You were filled with indignation but could not act upon it. When night fell, after Xianxia had fallen soundly asleep, you sought revenge by snatching her undergarment and hiding it. But reflecting on your action, you found it utterly despicable. What if she truly labeled you a lecherous dragon, and thereafter refused to let you sleep by her side? You gently and stealthily returned the undergarment to its original spot, merely hiding her shoes on top of the cabinet instead. The next day, Xianxia easily found her shoes. Not only was she not angered, but she instead felt that this little fellow possessed a stubborn, yet ultimately harmless nature. A few more days passed, and you had grown to approximately 10 centimeters. Your water manipulation abilities became increasingly potent. You could now condense a water barrier to intercept incoming attacks. Water arrows and water shields could be conjured with proper form and structure. The force of your water jets was now vastly different. Previously a mere trickle, the impact force was now sufficient to easily overturn a bed. You spent your days feeling frustrated within the room, having long yearned to venture outside and understand the current timeline. When idle with nothing to do, you would play with water, causing mischief. This often left the room in a chaotic mess. Your destructive prowess within the house surpassed even that of a hunting hound. Xianxia also understood that soul beasts could not be confined, let alone a proud and powerful member of the dragon clan. Today, she finally brought you to Luori Forest. The fresh air of the outside world invigorated your entire being. You had not walked far when you encountered a pack of wind spirit wolves, the strongest among them possessing only 100 years of cultivation. Although you had not been born long ago, you were, after all, of the dragon bloodline. You raised your hand and summoned several water arrows. The wind spirit wolves had not even had time to charge before they were struck down by the barrage of arrows, collapsing to the ground. You yourself were stunned, muttering, "Has my attack power not become excessively formidable?" At this moment, perhaps you could even single-handedly challenge a 1,000-year soul beast. Xianxia seemed to intentionally test your true strength, successively leading stronger soul beasts towards you. She ultimately concluded that in solo combat, you could stand firm against a 5,000-year soul beast. Furthermore, if you unleashed your Dragon Clan aura of suppression, even 10,000-year soul beasts would retreat. Translating this to human soulmaster levels, it would roughly be the cultivation of a 4-ring soul sect. If you were to utilize a domain to seal an opponent's soul skills, even a soul emperor might not be able to withstand it. Xianxia nodded in satisfaction, only hoping you would mature even faster and soon become her capable assistant. But as soon as the test concluded, Xianxia hastily brought you back with her. You were filled with unwillingness, thinking, "It's too soon to stop playing." You had originally wanted to rely on your dragon bloodline to sense the location of the ice and fire yin-yang well. However, in the following days, she only brought you out once every 10 to 15 days, leaving you so stifled you felt you were about to go stir-crazy. You yearned to go out in battle, yearned to temper yourself at the ice and fire yin-yang well, and even more so, yearned to grow up quickly to exact proper revenge upon her. These days, she treats me like a mere pet to be played with. It's utterly detestable. Xianxia perceived your yearning for the outside world, but she desired even more to bind you tightly to her side. She rubbed her brow, her tone carrying a hint of helplessness. "Xiao, Mother still has a mission to complete. I cannot disappear for too long, so there is no way for me to frequently bring you outside. However, Mother promised you that in a few more years, when Emperor Xue Ye succumbs to his poison and dies, inheriting the heavenly Dao imperial throne would mean she would accompany you outdoors every day." You rolled your eyes internally. If she wasn't free, couldn't she simply send her 2 titled Douluo subordinates to accompany you? What frustrated you even more was that several titled Douluo stood behind her, yet Emperor Xue Ye was merely a 5-ring soul king. His martial spirit was pitifully weak. Killing him directly would be simple. Yet, she insisted on slowly eroding him with poison. It seemed that to gain free movement, you would first have to eliminate Emperor Xue Ye. Your current strength was still weak, but your innate affinity with the water element, with water present everywhere, was a significant advantage. You possessed the strength to single-handedly kill a soul sect. Emperor Xue Ye's swan martial spirit would not withstand a single blow. Combined with your reverse flow river domain, acting would not be difficult. The challenge was that currently, your every move was under the watchful eyes of titled Douluo. You couldn't even slip out of Xianxu's room. The moment you poked your head out, you were thrown back by an ancient book, let alone assassinating the emperor. But for the sake of future freedom, you made assassinating Emperor Xue Ye your top priority. You re-evaluated your own abilities. Focusing on the water clone technique, you would condense a clone from water. Its strength would be no different from your main body. Once you mastered this technique, you could secretly slip out. Titled Douluo could not constantly seal off their surroundings with soul power. Releasing a clone to leave through the sewers, like water converging in a hidden area, it would absolutely not be detected. After setting your objective, you cultivated even more diligently. Your diet consisted solely of the finest spirit beast meat. Half a month later, You successfully condensed your first water clone, though it was still in its rudimentary form, far from combat ready. It was sufficient for gathering information. The clone transformed into a puddle of water, swimming through the sewers, and silently roamed the imperial palace. From the idle chatter of palace maids, you learned that the imperial fighting team, led by Yu Tianheng, had just been promoted to the silver badge level. They were about to leave Heavenly Dao City for training, and in less than 3 months, they would arrive at Soto City and clash with Tang San's Shrek 7 Devils. This timeline was still manageable. Tang San's greatest opportunity at the moment was merely the 8 spider lances. There was still a chance to seize it, as long as you obtained the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, within half a year, his future opportunities would be gone. After nearly 4 months of arduous cultivation, your stature grew from over 1 meter to 1.5 meters. The strength of your water clone also reached half of your main bodies. This much power was more than enough to kill Emperor Xue Ye. There was no more time for delay. Tang San was likely already on his way to Heavenly Dao City. You absolutely had to swiftly eliminate Emperor Xue Ye and seize the ice and fire yin-yang well. Without hesitation, you manipulated the clone to emerge from the sewers. During this period, you had already thoroughly memorized the layout of the Heavenly Dew Imperial Palace. What did it matter how strict the guards were? Water, present everywhere, was your eyes. At this moment, Emperor Xue Ye was being assisted by several palace maids to bathe. Your clone followed the water's flow, clinging to its path, and silently reached the bathing pool. Emperor Xue Ye stepped into the water, his face completely relaxed as he soaked in the hot bath. He was completely unaware that the water had condensed into a sharp, invisible water blade, dissolved within the pool. At the very moment he was most relaxed and at ease, the surface of the water rippled with a faint, imperceptible wave. The water blade flashed, and fresh blood instantly stained the entire warm pool crimson. The palace maids shrieked and scattered. Hidden guards, hearing the commotion, rushed in. They only saw the emperor's head rolling on the ground, still bearing an expression of complete relaxation. Fear gripped the faces of the onlookers. Someone had managed to silently assassinate an emperor of the empire. The entire imperial palace quickly descended into chaos. Xianxia was also stunned. Emperor Xue Ye's death at this critical juncture completely disrupted her plans. She immediately rushed to the scene, her face filled with sorrow as she bent to inspect the wound, but she could not discern what had severed the head. She only felt that the cut was smooth, as if sliced by an exceedingly sharp weapon. She waved away the surrounding people. Thornblood Douluo stepped forward to examine the wound, but likewise gained no insight. Young Master Jing Kong noticed the suspicious spear serpent Douluo appear stealthily. After Emperor Xue Ye met his demise, he immediately initiated a search. With the strength of a titled Douluo, surveying the entire Heaven Dew Imperial Palace should not have taken long, but after searching back and forth twice, not a single clue was found. Xianxu's brows furrowed tightly as she racked her brain, unable to comprehend who could have silently killed Emperor Xue Ye without a trace. Her plans were thrown into disarray, and she felt a sudden headache. Young master, what is the plan now? The two titled Douluo both looked towards her, wondering what else could be done. Having lain dormant for many years, she could not simply retreat gloomily to the spirit hall just because the plan had changed. Help me contact my master. I wish to inherit the throne, Xianxia stated with a solemn tone. Her master was the master of Xue Ye, Ning Fengji, the sect master of the 7 treasure glazed tile sect. Given Emperor Xue Ye's sudden demise, if the spirit hall openly helped her consolidate her position, outsiders would only perceive it as the spirit hall coveting the Heaven Dao Empire and trying to elevate Xue Ye to power. Not only would it damage the spirit hall's reputation, but later, when she gained control of the empire, it would only add more obstacles. Besides the spirit hall, the person most delighted by Emperor Xue Ye's death was Ning Fengji. The Clear Sky sect remained hidden from the world, and Ning Fengji's ambition had long been revealed. He wholeheartedly wished for the 7 treasure glazed tile sect to become the #1 sect in the world. For a support-type sect to reach the peak seemed like a pipe dream, but without ambition, how could one attract talent? Painting such grand visions required no capital, yet it could attract countless elites to pledge allegiance. Once the sect truly reached its peak, these individuals could reap immeasurable benefits. Ning Fengji took Xue Ye as a disciple, originally waiting for the moment he ascended the throne, and then manipulating him as a pawn. The news of Emperor Xue Ye's assassination quickly spread, and the entire nation mourned. Upon learning the news, Zhu Beng felt as if the sky had fallen. He had always disguised himself as a useless, uneducated playboy, originally thinking he could remain untainted. But, with Emperor Xue Ye's sudden departure, Xue Qinghe's position was solidified, and he had no chance whatsoever of inheriting the throne. Even if he sought out the poisoned Douluo, what good would it do? Xue Qinghe was Ning Fengji's disciple. He simply could not contend against him. You knew clearly in your heart that in the original work, if Tang San had not intervened, Xue Bang would never, in this lifetime, have a chance to sit on the throne. His stubborn demeanor was merely because he didn't want Xue Qinghe to target him with malicious intent, and in your heart you felt exceedingly refreshed. In just 3 days, Qian Rengshu successfully inherited the throne, and even brought you to her private palace, greatly expanding your scope of activity. This morning, you were once again making a fuss, demanding to go out, biting Qian Rengshu's garment hem, and pulling her outside. That posture clearly said, "You are already the emperor. You must not break a promise made to a dragon." Qian Rengshu's face was filled with fatigue. Having unexpectedly ascended the throne, many affairs had yet to be properly sorted out. Seeing your clamoring appearance, she let out a helpless smile. "Little He, be good. Mother will take you out to play once she finishes her work today." She believed she had to set an example. Words spoken could absolutely not be retracted. Only by setting a good example for this little one could she earn lasting loyalty. You let out a soft huff of dissatisfaction. Having truly held back enough, you resolutely wrapped yourself around her upper body in protest, squeezing her until she was almost breathless. Qian Rengshu couldn't endure you, so she had no choice but to set aside her imperial duties and take you out with her. "Little He, where do you want to go?" Remembering clearly from the original story that the Ice and Fire Dual Spring was located right in the center of the Luo Risenlin, you quickly determined the direction and rushed deep into the forest. Previously, Qian Rengshu had been too busy. Each time she ventured out, she could not linger for long, and only explored a few small forest areas. Furthermore, her strong desire for control meant she would permit neither this nor that. You fundamentally had no opportunity to search for the Ice and Fire Dual Spring. But now, finally free, you soared directly into the depths. Qian Rengshu swiftly pursued, originally believing you were running wildly because you had been imprisoned for too long and too severely suppressed. She felt that such reckless running was too dangerous, and wanted to bring you back. But on second thought, she realized that too strict control could easily provoke rebellious tendencies, proving counterproductive, so she secretly followed behind you. After flying for a long time, constantly adjusting your direction along the way, you finally spotted your target. An area shrouded in thick poisonous mist, covered by a poison formation. Within it lay precisely the Ice and Fire Dual Spring you had always yearned for. This was the poison of the poison Douluo. The blood Douluo had been dispatched to assist Qian Rengshu. His martial spirit inherently countered the poison Douluo, and he profoundly understood Du Gubo's poison techniques. This must be the poison Douluo's hidden cultivation ground. What treasure could he be concealing that required protection by such a potent poison formation? A flicker of expectation shone in Qian Rengshu's eyes. To cultivate to the level of a titled Douluo, everyone must possess their own unique fortuitous encounter. This place must conceal his secrets. It seems Xiao He wasn't running around aimlessly, but had sensed a treasure within. He led us all the way here. This little fellow truly possesses extraordinary ability. In the future, when dealing with the poison Douluo, he could be of great assistance. The blood Douluo gave you a thumbs up, and you truly wanted to roll your eyes. Coiling your tail around Qian Rengshu's wrist, you plunged directly into the poison formation. Although this poison formation could annihilate spirit saints, with a titled Douluo accompanying them, the group passed through with ease. Upon entering the formation, a dense forest appeared before their eyes, within which a hill approximately 500 meters high stood majestically. You, Qian Rengshu, and the blood Douluo continuously assessed your surroundings as you slowly made your way towards the summit. Reaching the summit, an inverted cone-shaped mountain pool clearly lay before them. As you stood at the edge of the mountain pool, humid, hot air billowed up from its depths, carrying a faint scent of sulfur. Beneath this, it might be a volcano. With such humid, hot air, it was highly likely there were also hot springs. Qian Rengshu's eyes subtly moved. Sulfur was predominantly found in volcanic regions. The poison Douluo specialized in studying poisonous creatures, and it was rumored he possessed a dedicated medicinal herb garden. While volcanic hot springs were inherently unsuitable for ordinary plant growth, the abundant minerals and heat could instead cultivate unique and highly toxic plants. The blood Douluo's expression turned solemn. The poison Douluo's toxins were peerless on the continent. If they could acquire the poisonous herbs he cultivated, it would be of immense benefit to the spirit hall. You, however, could no longer suppress your yearning for the treasure that was the Ice and Fire Dual Spring, and you leaped and flew down into the mountain pool. Qian Rengshu and the blood Douluo followed closely behind. Before long, the three of them stepped into a valley as beautiful as a celestial paradise, their hearts filled with boundless astonishment. The hot spring in the valley was far different from what they expected. Within it, there was indeed another realm, an oval-shaped pond, not vast in area, yet distinctly divided into two halves, one milky white, the other blazing red. The two spring waters, coexisting in one pond, maintained a clear and distinct separation, like yin and yang twin fish, neither encroaching upon the other, each preserving its own boundary. Look quickly. Hidden within the mist are things. It seems to be all medicinal herbs. The blood Douluo revealed an expression of ecstatic joy. He soared into the valley, waving his hand to dispel the thick mist, and the scene surrounding the ice and fire dual spring was completely revealed. All around the dual spring grew strange flowers and exotic herbs of every conceivable color, like a secret realm of plants. With just a single glance, Xu and Xianxia were both dumbfounded. The plants here were, without a doubt, rare and precious treasures found nowhere else in the world. Not far away, beside an ivory-white stream, grew a cluster of small, worm-like plants. Xu bent down to pick one up, his voice filled with delightful surprise. This is snow cordyceps, a peak grade among all cordyceps. How could snow cordyceps grow so large? A single stalk already weighs several kilograms, and there are so many growing here. Where did the poison Douluo even find such a place? I can feel the heaven and earth yuan qi here is incredibly dense, seemingly allowing the plants' growth speed to far surpass that of the outside world. Xianxia's eyes also gleamed with joy. This place was indeed a sacred ground for plant growth. To use it only for cultivating poisonous herbs felt like an immense waste of heaven's bounty. Within her heart, she had already begun to scheme how she would exploit this treasure land in the future. Delving deeper into the valley, more and more precious medicinal ingredients appeared, most of which she couldn't even name. Isn't that Elder Yu's spirit, the Qirong heavenly chrysanthemum? Xu raised his hand, pointing towards a large purple chrysanthemum, his tone filled with astonishment. The petals of that chrysanthemum were soft, yet the entire flower emitted not the slightest fragrance. The central pistil rose more than half a meter above the petals, its tip emanating a faint golden halo. No wonder the chrysanthemum elder could cultivate to the titled Douluo rank. He originally relied on his transcendent spirit quality, yet I never imagined such an herb with the same name actually existed in the world. If we bring this Qirong heavenly chrysanthemum back, his strength will certainly advance another level. Xianxia's tone was calm, yet a hidden light flickered within her eyes. Just this single Qirong heavenly chrysanthemum was enough to showcase the immense value of this treasure land. With a soft growl, while the two were marveling at the immortal herbs, you had already rushed to the side of the ice and fire yin-yang well, letting out a few soft calls towards the bottom of the pond. In your eyes, the most precious things had never been these immortal herbs, but the two great dragon kings at the bottom of the pond. You could clearly sense the soul fluctuations below. They were the remnant souls of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King. The two great dragon kings at the bottom of the pond sensed your noble bloodline, mistakenly thinking a kin had arrived, and the entire valley suddenly trembled. Xianxia's beautiful eyes narrowed as she turned to look at you. Was this commotion caused by you? In the next moment, two swirling vortexes appeared in the two streams of water within the ice and fire yin-yang well. One fiery, one icy, two phantom dragon figures slowly ascended to the surface. Dragons! Xianxia's eyes widened. Two more dragons appeared out of thin air. Could they be your kin? Did you specifically come here to acknowledge them? The remnant souls of the Fire Dragon King and Ice Dragon King suspiciously assessed you. From your appearance, you greatly resembled the Black Dragon King of the Black Dragon clan, but the Black Dragon King possesses a dark attribute, while a pure water attribute aura emanated from your body. During the Dragon Clan's peak era, they were abundant in types, possessing myriad strange and wonderful abilities. The two Dragon Kings merely considered you one of a few unique cases. Your bloodline's grade was extremely high, not inferior to theirs in the slightest. The two great Dragon Kings immediately recognized you as the hope for the resurgence of the dragon race. Upon this realization, the two Dragon Kings did not hesitate in the slightest. They bestowed upon you their entire cultivation and their vital dragon cores. The two dragon cores entered your body. The water attribute power of one Dragon King was exceptionally compatible with you. Your meridians and internal organs were rapidly nourished. Your cultivation progressed at an astonishing speed, while the Fire Dragon King's dragon core condensed into a lotus-shaped flame imprint on your forehead. In moments of crisis, it could unleash power to protect its master, thus ensuring your life would be without worry. Having received such a profound bestowal, you did not covet the spirit bones or remains of the two Dragon Kings, having already received immense grace. You did not wish to disturb their eternal slumber any further. Moreover, the power within their spirit bones and corpses could still maintain the operation of the ice and fire yin-yang well, making it the best choice to leave them here. Xianxiu was overjoyed watching your transformation. Your body now stretched to 2 meters, half a meter longer than when you first entered the valley. Previously, it took you half a year to grow from 1 meter to 1.5 meters. Who could have imagined such rapid progress in an instant? She was filled with curiosity, wondering what extraordinary fortune you had received from the two Dragon Kings that allowed your strength to grow so quickly. Xiaohe truly is mother's precious treasure. Xianxiu smiled, embracing your head and planting a kiss on your forehead. She could also sense the immense power contained within the medicinal herbs in the valley. If brought back to Spirit Hall for the consecrated elders to use, they could not only enhance their strength, but also significantly extend their lifespans. Those elders had always cherished her like their own lives. And now that they were old, these immortal herbs would be the most precious gift. It was a pity that while the elemental energy of the ice and fire yin-yang well was abundant, its attributes were extremely conflicting. If humans or spirit beasts remained here for too long, it wouldn't take long for the two extreme types of spiritual energy to deeply impact their meridians. If one did not leave in time, they would inevitably suffer an explosive death. Otherwise, this place would indeed be an ideal retreat for old age. Being praised and intimately kissed like a child, a feeling of contentment arose within you. Letting out a soft growl, your slender dragon body tightly coiled around Xianxia's form. The advantages of your increased length immediately became apparent. Not only could you coil around her waist, but even her long, slender legs were tightly embraced along with it. Haha, Xiao He, don't be mischievous. Xianxia was tickled by your embrace, yet her heart felt sweet. She simply regarded you as clinging to her, truly her obedient child. She smiled, lowered her head, and imprinted another kiss on your forehead. Why is the fog getting so dense? This is poisonous gas, young master, be careful. A dark blue mist quietly ascended from the yin-yang well. Xue Douluo was extremely sensitive to toxins. At this moment he unleashed his spirit, activated his spirit avatar, and transformed into a gigantic pufferfish. 9 spirit rings slowly revolved around his body, causing the hidden assailant to be thoroughly alarmed. Another titled Douluo. Xue Douluo opened his mouth, swallowing the green mist, having long since deduced the identity of the newcomer. Old toxic one, come out! Your poisons won't work on us. You mongrels from the spirit hall dared to trespass into this old man's medicinal garden. Today, you shall leave your lives here. The voice of the poisoned Douluo echoed from all directions. His emerald green poisonous Q no longer held back, surging forth like a tide and pressing down. The ice and fire yin-yang well was the very foundation of the poisoned Douluo's existence. Should he lose this place, the toxins within his body would turn and devour him. Therefore, all who trespassed must perish here. Only then could his mind be at peace. Xianxia embraced you tightly. Her angelic martial spirit suddenly unfurled behind her, sacred light illuminating the entire mountain. The angel's domain unleashed, temporarily isolating the poisonous Q outside. Seeing that iconic angelic martial spirit, the poisoned Douluo's expression suddenly darkened. It's someone from the Qian clan again. This spells great trouble, he thought. But he also understood that today's matter was already an irreconcilable conflict. If the spirit hall were to discover his fatal weakness, he would either die or be reduced to a prisoner. He inherently feared not death. Anyone who dared obstruct his path, even those with the angelic bloodline, must die. Thinking thus, he accelerated the release of his poisonous Qi, vowing to fill the entire valley and poison everyone within. Xianxia, with her protective domain, was temporarily unafraid of the poisonous Qi, yet her delicate brows furrowed deeply. Her opponent was a genuine titled Douluo. His power was far beyond her current ability to resist. If she couldn't devise a countermeasure, sooner or later she would implicate the blood Douluo. More importantly, if they were driven out by the poisoned Douluo today, wouldn't the treasures within the valley surely be plundered clean by him? Given the eccentric and peculiar temperament of that old poisonous one, he might even directly destroy this treasured land. With a growl, you let out a cry, struggling free from Xianxia's embrace. The poisoned Douluo arrived just in time. Subduing this old man wouldn't be difficult. Xiao He, don't run around recklessly. Xianxia saw you fly out, fearing you might be harmed, and hurriedly chased after you, once again embracing you. You twisted your body, unwilling to be held like a small animal. Instead, you coiled your dragon body tightly around her, and let out a growl towards the dense mist in the distance. The mist around your body suddenly surged forth, and everyone felt the space distort abruptly. When they recovered their senses, they found themselves upon a massive, rapidly surging river. The river's banks were out of sight, its source unseen. Only its downstream flowed into what was originally the valley world. Within the turbulent currents, a figure was being swept along, struggling immensely. That person's figure was gaunt as a withered tree, his beard and hair both dark green. His eyes glowed brilliantly like jade, and his entire being exuded an ethereal, hazy aura. His cheeks were deeply sunken, his green hair disheveled, and he donned a simple robe. It was none other than the poisoned Douluo. At this moment, his face was filled with horror, his eyes brimming with disbelief. This old man, why can this old man not use his soul skills? On the other side, the blood Douluo also fell from midair, plunging into the river with a splash, his face bewildered. Why was his martial spirit true body suddenly forcibly dispelled? What exactly is the origin of this river? How could it appear out of thin air within the ice and fire yin-yang? Well, the poisoned Douluo and the blood Douluo both perceived the strangeness of this place, and without prior agreement, ceased their actions, cautiously surveying their surroundings. Gazing upstream into the mid-air, Qian Rengshu's profound domain stood tall, the light of her angel domain like a dazzling sun, and she, at this moment, was also filled with astonishment, lowering her head to look at the one coiling around her body. "Is this your domain, child?" Growling, you displayed a posture with your head and chest held high, as if showing off your capabilities. "Xiao He, your domain is so formidable that even the titled Douluo here cannot use his spirit abilities. You are truly mother's good strong boy." Qian Rengshu smiled, raising her hand to caress your head, but you angrily pushed her hand away with your own head, your dragon body retracting and coiling a little tighter. The corner of Qian Rengshu's mouth curved slightly. As she flew towards Poison Douluo, she tossed a command to Xue, "I want him alive." Xue no longer hesitated, launching himself towards Poison Douluo. Seeing that his opponents were numerous, Poison Douluo immediately turned and fled downstream, green poisonous gas still emanating around his body. Although he could not use his spirit abilities, his martial spirit was inherently poisonous. The jade phosphorus serpent emperor, spraying poison like intertwining vines, was an innate instinct. However, Qian Rengshu not only possessed a protective domain, but could also activate her spirit abilities normally. As soon as the poisonous gas approached, it was blocked by her domain. The flying speed of the angel martial spirit was incredibly swift. In the blink of an eye, she blocked Poison Douluo's path. The angel sword unleashed sharp sword nets, tightly sealing off his path of retreat. Xue also pursued, wielding his great saber, and together, the two of them, one in front and one behind, cornered Poison Douluo in the middle. Poison Douluo's lifelong poison arts could not be unleashed, nor could his spirit abilities be used. He only felt an extreme sense of frustration. What exactly was the origin of this damned place, that it rendered his decades of cultivation utterly useless? You are the master of this domain, and your power here can increase by another level. With a mere thought, countless streams of water condensed into water arrows, all simultaneously hovering above Poison Douluo's head. He clearly understood in his heart that if he did not surrender today, death was inevitable. He was not afraid of death, but thinking of his granddaughter, he found himself unable to simply give up. He defiantly put on a posture of rather dying than submitting, and loudly threatened, "You of the Spirit Hall only know how to suppress others with brute force. This old man has never offended you, yet you seek to exploit me dry. At worst, this old man will self-detonate right here, and no one shall gain any benefit." Even if surrendering, one cannot lose one's imposing manner. One must first utter ruthless words to secure more bargaining chips. "Senior Dugu, we originally did not wish to be your enemies, but you just now launched a venomous attack, intending to poison us to death. How can we simply let that pass?" Qian Rengshu's icy gaze fixed on him. Poison Douluo gritted his teeth and coldly snorted, "You brazenly intruded into this old man's medicinal garden." This old man was merely protecting himself. Poison Douluo no longer needed to probe. "Before you, there are only two paths. Either join the Spirit Hall and serve as an elder, upholding the glory of the Spirit Hall, or be buried in this place today." Qian Rengshu was very clear about the Spirit Hall's future path. In the future, it must unify the continent, and any titled Douluo wandering outside would be a hidden danger. Poison Douluo's poison arts were renowned throughout the world, and his threat level among titled Douluo ranked among the foremost, especially with his devastating power against ordinary spirit masters. If such a person were to become an enemy, it would only cause her endless unease. Douluo did not expect the opponent's request to be so simple. He was stunned for a moment, then became even more wary of this heavenly family successor before him. He had long since run out of options. Having lost his soul skills, he was fundamentally no match for the two individuals and one dragon, ultimately forced to bow his head and agree to join the Spirit Hall. Douluo's temperament was eccentric, but once he had given his word, he would not go back on it. You retracted the reverse flow river domain, and after Douluo recovered his strength, he also lost any intention of taking action. To possess such an ability, there must certainly be an even stronger old master presiding in the shadows. To have survived was already a great fortune. He no longer wished to court death. After witnessing your might, Qian Rengshu grew even more devoted to you. What exactly was this domain? It could directly render a titled Douluo utterly incapable of using their soul skills. One must know that this was the world of martial spirits on the Douluo continent. Soul masters relied most on their martial spirits, and martial spirits relied most on their soul skills. Preventing them from utilizing their soul skills directly crippled their combat strength. However, this domain also had its flaws. It could not stop the power of other domains. Qian Rengshu's angel domain remained undisturbed by the stillness of the reverse flow river. But there was no need to worry. In this world, those who possessed a domain could be counted on one's fingers. Not many of those cultivated by her family possessed a domain either. In the future, when facing those titled Douluo who lacked a domain, bringing you along was truly a profound advantage. With a low growl, after subduing Douluo, you circled him once, causing Dr. Douluo to become somewhat anxious. His martial spirit was named the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor, one of the dragon species and a rare martial spirit. However, even such a rare dragon bloodline could not compare to your formidable, true dragon bloodline. Dr. Douluo could discern that you were a true dragon. The Spirit Hall had shown no small generosity, raising a black dragon soul beast of the notoriously intelligent dragon lineage, one that possessed sentience from a young age. Just now, during the exchange, your coordinated efforts with Xianxia clearly indicated your submission to this young heavenly family angel. As long as you were properly nurtured, in the future, you would undoubtedly become the guardian divine beast of the Spirit Hall, protecting it for countless generations. Dr. Douluo could not fathom why you were circling him, only feeling a touch of annoyance that he was being appraised like a curious object by a dragon. After completing a full circle, mist appeared around your body, condensing into a line of scrawled words. After obtaining the dragon core, your strength had vastly increased, and your control over the water element had become even more formidable. Dr. Douluo clearly saw the words, and his expression suddenly changed. It read, "Are you suffering a backlash from your own poison?" Xianxia and Blood Douluo also looked towards Dr. Douluo in astonishment. Dr. Douluo had dealt with poisons his entire life. Who could have expected that he would be harmed by the very poison he relied on most? If this spread, wouldn't he be ridiculed by the world? Since Dr. Douluo had joined the Spirit Hall, this invaluable secret naturally could not be concealed. His situation would inevitably be discovered sooner or later. He might as well be proactive and forthright, to see if the Spirit Hall possessed a cure, especially since you had been able to discern the extremely unique hidden ailment within his body. Thus, he roughly explained his predicament. Blood Douluo revealed a look of sympathy. His life could also be considered tragic. From a distance, you grabbed a sweet potato and brought it before Dr. Douluo. Beside you, a few more distorted words condensed. "Eat it, and your poison will naturally be resolved." Eating a mere melon will cure it? Dr. Douluo was dumbfounded. The poison that had tormented him for so many years would just be resolved so simply? Moreover, this melon had been picked directly from his own herb garden. If outsiders were to see this, they would likely believe he was being tormented by toxins, living a life worse than death, disregarding such precious treasures, not using them for later enjoyment. Xianxia did not recognize these specific herbs, but she knew that all the spirit herbs here were genuine, further solidifying her trust in his capabilities. She nodded, looking towards Poison Douluo. "Elder Dugu, Xue Ye possesses special abilities. Since he can discern the poison within your body, he must have a solution. You likely do not comprehend the true value of these medicinal ingredients. Any single plant, if placed outside, would be worth an entire city, unobtainable even in exchange for a spirit bone." "I understand," Poison Douluo said, questioning no further. "If you wish to kill him, why would you resort to such elaborate means? Now he is an elder of the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall could never abandon a titled Douluo." Poison Douluo opened his mouth and promptly consumed the earth dragon golden fruit. As soon as he swallowed it, he immediately realized the miraculous nature of this fruit. The dragon clan bloodline dormant within his body seemed to be stimulated, surging forth. He instantly understood why merely consuming this fruit could resolve his own poison. His spirit was so formidable precisely because of his dragon clan bloodline. But this bloodline was too fragile, and the toxicity too potent, causing him to suffer a backlash. If he could enhance his dragon clan bloodline, not only would the calamity of the poison be removed, but his strength could also increase significantly. Poison Douluo hurriedly sought a safe spot, preparing to absorb the fruit's energy, his heart filled with uncontrollable excitement. In this way, his granddaughter could also use this method to resolve her toxins and further enhance her spirit. His family, and his Jade Phosphor Serpent spirit, would then be able to pass on properly. As Poison Douluo went to absorb the medicinal power of the immortal herb, you, naturally, could not let Xianxia leave empty-handed, could you? You pulled Xianxia towards the ice and fire yin-yang well. "Xue Ye, are you intending for me to consume these two medicinal ingredients?" Xianxia looked at the two immortal herbs in the spring water, knowing in her heart that most of the unusual phenomena here were related to this spring, and that the closer one got to the yin-yang well, the more precious the medicinal ingredients became. These two, growing directly in the water, were truly supreme among supreme treasures. She had not expected her precious and obedient child to find such an excellent immortal-grade item for her. Reaching out, she gently patted your head, uttering, "Xue Ye, you are still the one who treats your mother best." However, the aura emanating from the two immortal herbs caused Xianxia to feel a sense of apprehension. She only felt an immense danger. "Can this thing even be eaten? Xue Ye, how do you expect me to eat this? If I even touch it, I fear half my life might be lost here." You offered no explanation, rushing directly towards the top of the ice and fire yin-yang well and plucking the two immortal herbs. Extreme cold and extreme heat had absolutely no effect on you, who had already obtained the dragon pill of the Ice-Fire Dragon King. You held the two immortal herbs, wrapped your tail around Xianxia, and brought her into the intersection of the ice and fire, yin-yang well. What are you doing? Xiao He, release your mother! The two extreme forces of ice and fire invaded her body, causing bone-piercing pain. Tian Rengxu instinctively resisted. She also disliked such a passive situation. The little fellow, whom she usually raised to be obedient, suddenly became domineering, causing a trace of loss to arise in her heart. But very quickly, she no longer had the strength to resist. Extreme cold and extreme heat flooded into her body, hot and cold forces alternately clashing. Tian Rengxu's complexion fluctuated between pale green and crimson, her vital energy surging as if her entire body was about to explode. This is still just the beginning. You directly placed the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the fiery apricot scarlet bud into her mouth. Although these two immortal-grade treasures carried potent poisons, after mutually counteracting each other, they no longer possessed their tyrannical properties. The moment they entered her mouth, they melted, transforming into a potent essence that flowed down her throat. Under her tongue, a refreshing sweetness bloomed, diffusing a fragrant aroma. Above their heads, a pale pink halo of light floated, approximately 10 meters in diameter. Within this halo, a large flower quietly bloomed. It was the Xianxia immortal grade. The Xianxia immortal grade was precisely the bane of all poisons, capable of neutralizing all toxins. While it could not directly detoxify, it could suppress poisonous properties. Its fragrance was serene and elegant. Any poisonous substance within its covered range would lose its efficacy. With its protection, Tian Rengxu would not be harmed by the toxicity of the immortal herbs, allowing her to better absorb the medicinal power of the two immortal herbs. The taste, surprisingly, was not unpleasant. Tian Rengxu was still silently marveling that these two terrifying-looking immortal herbs were so palatable, when her body began to tremble violently. A layer of icy blue spread upwards from her feet, instantly covering her entire body in azure frost, followed immediately by a vibrant red ascending. At this moment, Tian Rengxu's head was like a freshly boiled shrimp, with a bizarre alternation of blue and red. Intense pain engulfed her entire body, and Tian Rengxu's consciousness gradually blurred, on the verge of losing consciousness. You carried her, and together, you fell into the ice and fire, yin-yang well. Tian Rengxu, already enduring extreme pain, immediately fainted after entering the water. Observing her current state, it seems you have succeeded. Once she has fully absorbed the medicinal effects of these two immortal herbs, she will gain a physique impervious to water and fire, and immune to all poisons. Even if Tong San were to create the Buddha's Fury Tong Lotus, it would not be able to harm Tian Rengxu in the slightest. A day passed, and Tian Rengxu stepped out from the ice and fire yin-yang well. Before, she had only felt that the power within these two springs was terrifying, and even a mere touch would cost her half her life. Now, however, she found it only mild and tranquil. She could even bathe within it without issue. It was obvious that her body must have undergone earth-shattering transformations. Recalling everything you had done for her yesterday, her expression softened. You were truly her most dutiful junior. She even felt that all the potent poisons in the world could no longer harm her. She looked around and quickly saw you dozing off on the side. She walked over, gently stroked your head, her eyes filled with tenderness. Young master, it is time for us to return. It has been 2 days since they arrived at the Ice Fire 2 Extreme Zai. Tian Rengxu was now the Tiandu Empress. Her delayed appearance could easily arouse suspicion. Tian Rengxu showed her displeasure, yet she was helpless. After all, she still had to return to her duties as Empress. Furthermore, Ning Fengji was coming to meet her, making it truly inconvenient to avoid. She carried you, preparing to leave. As for the poisoned Douluo, his martial spirit issue had long since been resolved, and he took another Earth Dragon Gold Gourd. You remained silent. Although Dugu Yan's poison could be resolved with just one spirit bone, the effects of the Earth Dragon Gold Gourd were far more potent. As the poisoned Douluo himself was a grandfather, how could he not wish for his granddaughter to become stronger? This place originally belonged to him, so taking a few more items was only natural. Pressing him too hard would, on the contrary, estrange the poisoned Douluo from Spirit Hall, which would be detrimental to their control. You awoke while being carried, discovering Tian Rengxu was rushing back with you, feeling somewhat dejected. Tian Rengxu had to return to her duties as Empress, and if you returned, you would be locked in the Imperial Palace again. This was precisely what you did not want. You immediately began to struggle, wanting to go outside. Little He, listen to mother. Tian Rengxu was unwilling to let you venture out on your own. As a spirit beast, and a noble dragon, if discovered by others, you would undoubtedly be captured. Whether for hunting and acquiring a spirit ring, or for breeding and extracting dragon blood, you were exceedingly precious. Only by keeping you by her side and protecting you could she feel at ease. You used your tail to point at the subordinate blood Douluo standing to the side, emitting pitiful whimpers from your mouth, as if telling him to take you out to play. Tian Rengxu recalled how much benefit she had gained by relying on you this time, even helping Spirit Hall subdue a titled Douluo. Hearing your pitiful sobs, Her heart immediately softened, and she spoke up reluctantly. Little He, I can let you go out with the subordinate blood family. But you must promise me one thing. Your eyes lit up, and you hastily nodded your dragon head. After this, you are not allowed to leave the subordinate blood family's 5-meter radius. If he doesn't want you to do something, you must obey him. Otherwise, I will never let you leave the house again, understand? You cried out happily, intending to get down. Xianxia rubbed your head again. Little He, you are mother's good child. Don't put mother in a difficult position, okay? She clearly understood your true strength. Once your reverse flow river domain was unleashed, the subordinate blood Douluo would be no match for you if you truly ran wild. No one could stop you. However, she was very confident in her own ability to discipline, feeling that you had long since come to rely on her and would undoubtedly be obedient and never run wild. Reassured, she entrusted you to the subordinate blood Douluo. Xianxia then hastily rushed back to the imperial palace. As soon as Xianxia left, you immediately sought out a rope. The corner of the subordinate blood Douluo's mouth subtly curled. This little black dragon truly knows how to listen. It even actively took the rope, wanting to tie itself. Won't I be able to take a dragon for a walk later? Just thinking about it, he found it amusing. How could you possibly bring such grievance upon yourself? You took one end of the rope, tied it around your dragon claw to form a loop, and then intended to wrap the other end around the subordinate blood Douluo's neck. The subordinate blood Douluo's face instantly darkened. This little black dragon was not being straightforward. It wanted to do that again. Naturally, he refused, grabbing the rope with one hand and tying it around his own arm. That's fine then. Where do you want to go? You felt a little disappointed, still having thought you could take him for a walk today. You twisted your dragon body, flying towards Tiandao City. The subordinate blood Douluo hurriedly stopped you. Xue Ye, you are a spirit beast and cannot enter human settlements. With such unique characteristics, you will easily attract unwanted attention. You used your claws to scratch a line of characters on the ground. With our current strength, who is there to fear? Even so, it is not permissible. The young master does not approve of this matter, so I cannot take you. Xu maintained a firm stance. The next moment, with puffed cheeks, a mist erupted from your body, completely enveloping it. As the mist dispersed, a handsome, white-haired youth stood in your place. You have transformed! Xu's eyes widened. He reached out to touch, but his fingertip merely passed through a patch of mist. Is this merely an illusion meant to deceive others? But Xu circled the youth several times. As long as he didn't touch him, there was fundamentally no difference from a real person. Perhaps the only distinguishing factor is that you still cannot speak. The mist stirred slightly, and a dialogue box appeared beside the youth, as if from a manga. Now that I've transformed like this, no one will recognize that I am a spirit beast. Can we go to Heavendu City and explore? Xu hesitated for a moment. After some thought, he considered that if even a titled Douluo like himself couldn't discern any flaws, outsiders would certainly not be able to detect anything. He then nodded. Very well, but from now on, you must obey me. Furthermore, change this face of yours. It is excessively dazzlingly handsome. If you enter Heavendu City like this, won't all the young women and maidens be utterly captivated? At that time, a crowd will gather, and your identity will be exposed. You were displeased, saying, Why are you so troublesome? How can a living titled Douluo be so restricted? Helplessly, you donned a mask that covered half your face, yet your handsomeness still emanated from your every step. Xu was still unwilling, saying, Covering your entire face would be too much. Several words popped up in the dialogue box. I am also doing this for your safety. Obey me, and later I will catch many more delicious spirit beasts for you to eat. Fine then. Change it to a smiling mask. Xu almost burst out laughing. The contrast between before and after was too stark, making it somewhat difficult to accept for a moment. Let's go quickly. I still have many things to do today. The dialogue box displayed, and Xu was filled with doubt. You are watched every day. What could you possibly need to do? Let him be. Since you are so obedient, you shouldn't cause any trouble. Living within the imperial palace of Heavendao City, you had never stepped beyond the city gates. As one of the two largest and most prosperous cities on the continent, Heavendu City's walls towered 100 meters high, entirely constructed from the toughest granite. Its weight far surpassed the sea god Trident, making it no wonder that even Tang Sun, after becoming a god, could not break through these city walls. The two entered the city together. Your appearance showed no flaws that the guards could discern. Xu kept calling you Xue Ye, which you disliked in your heart, so you made Xu Douluo change to calling you by your true name. A folding fan appeared in your hand. With a crisp shua sound, it opened, and a line of characters appeared on its surface. To the market, remember to bring money. Turned out you wanted to buy things. Xu Douluo received the message mentally, and his eyes suddenly lit up. You were able to find a treasure land like the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, The natural talent of a spirit beast can certainly discern treasures. With you at the market, it will truly be like having a born expert at finding treasures. He immediately agreed. I will take you to the largest market in Heavendu City, which is the Seven Treasures. The market was established by the Seven Treasure Glaze Tile sect. Inside, small merchants of all kinds mingled, offering a diverse array of goods. Among the vast variety, many unknown items were mixed in, often concealing treasures of immense value. You entered the market, your gaze sweeping across the stalls on both sides. The items in this fantastical world were myriad and wondrous. As you casually browsed, you discovered a fist-sized metallic plate, discarded as if it were low-quality crystal. You collected items as you went. In less than a moment, you had gathered quite a few things. Finally, you arrived at the market's most crucial shopfront, a direct sales outlet of the Seven Treasures Glaze Tile sect, offering only top-grade treasures. Naturally, in this era, spirit bones would absolutely not appear in such a place. A server quickly approached to greet you. You deftly unfolded your folding fan, upon which a line of text appeared. I want Kim Jiao. Bring out all the Kim Jiao your shop possesses. Kim Jiao? The female server's face flushed crimson as she couldn't help but appraise the young man before her. You wore a mask with a faint, smiling intent. Your figure was tall and sturdy, your white hair swaying gently in the breeze. At first glance, your demeanor was extraordinary. She speculated wildly in her heart. Perhaps it was because you were born excessively handsome. Having entangled with many romantic connections and depleted your body, you came to buy Kim Jiao, or perhaps you concealed your appearance, fearing entanglement with women on the street. Were it not for the duties she bore, she truly wished to reach out and remove your mask, to behold the stunning countenance beneath. What do you need Kim Jiao for? Shushu's face showed confusion. You wouldn't be using this item now, would you? He muttered inwardly. Kim Jiao is an aphrodisiac. How long has this young dragon been born? Where would it be needed? You glared at him, too lazy to explain. Very quickly, the female server arrived, carrying several red trays, a practiced smile on her face. Young master, these are all the Kim Jiao our establishment possesses. 35 pieces of 100-year Kim Jiao, 21 pieces of 1,000-year Kim Jiao, and 2 pieces of 10,000-year Kim Jiao. You waved your hand, collecting all of the Kim Jiao. Shushu's mouth twitched slightly. He merely thought you were spending others' money without a trace of heartache. Yet upon reflection, a sense of anticipation arose within him. Perhaps Kim Jiao had more than just an aphrodisiac effect. In your hands, it might possess other wondrous uses. At that point, it would certainly be a sure win. That is the Nine-Heart Begonia family's medicinal shop. Do you wish to go in and see? After purchasing the Kim Jiao, you wandered through various shops in Heavendu City for a long while, finally stopping before a medicinal shop blooming with begonia flowers, your expression somewhat thoughtful. You naturally recognized this as the Nine-Heart Begonia family's enterprise. In your mind, you recalled the profound water pill, which would only appear in later generations. The profound water pill was concocted by combining the essence blood of over a dozen types of water attribute soul beasts with water attributes spirit herbs. Its medicinal effects were exceedingly potent. It could not only enhance a soul master's innate soul power, but also extensively cleanse the marrow and refine the bones, greatly accelerating subsequent cultivation speed. Although you were not skilled in alchemy, merely providing a general direction would allow seasoned alchemists to gradually research and develop the formulation. Once the profound water pill was mass-produced, it could play an enormous role in the future, whether for recruiting talents or cultivating one's own forces. Besides the profound water pill, you also thought of the heaven and earth creation pill. That was an immortal treasure recorded in the ancient texts, left by Tang San, possessing the wondrous effect of reforging creation. Its medicinal ingredients were largely sourced from the immortal herbs of the ice and fire dual layer. In the past, Elder Xuan, after directly consuming it, broke through from level 98 to level 99, demonstrating the immense power of its medicinal effects. Currently, the pill formula likely still resides within Tang San's mind, and obtaining it will not be easy. However, you possess ample means to compel him to reveal those forbidden arts he secretly acquired. Considering this, you took a step towards the entrance of the medicine shop. In this era, all major powers possess branches for medicinal refining. Yet most are nothing out of the ordinary. Only the Pod clan and the Nine-Heart Begonia clan are truly proficient in this path. The medicine shop was bustling with people. Not wishing to wait, you opened your folding fan and showed a line of text to Sin Shu. Why summon the Nine-Heart Begonia clan head here? What business do you have with them? Sin Shu spoke, stating he needed to understand your intentions clearly, not wanting you to do anything beyond his control. To the spirit hall, you were far too important. You did not hide your intention of refining medicine from it. Why seek outsiders for medicinal refining? Spirit Hall itself possessed master refiners. Sinning Shu thought to himself that what you wish to refine must be a precious medicinal pill, and naturally he wanted Spirit Hall to reap all the benefits. He knew the person he was referring to was Yang Wushuang of the Po clan, who had been captured by Spirit Hall. However, your reason for seeking the Nine-Heart Begonia clan held another ulterior motive. You wished to subjugate this clan, and thus your attitude was resolute. You persistently demanded to meet the Nine-Heart Begonia clan head. Xin Xue yielded to you, having no choice but to briefly release his aura. He then summoned the current Nine-Heart Begonia clan head. Esteemed guest, you seek me? The Nine-Heart Begonia clan head, merely a 7-ring auxiliary soul sage, sensed Xin Shu's vast soul power, and dared not be presumptuous. Accompanied by a few prominent soul sages of his clan, he walked forward. It is not I who seek you, but he. Xin Shu raised his hand and pointed towards you. The Nine-Heart Begonia clan head looked at you, who were wearing a mask, his eyes filled with puzzlement. Young master, you sought me? You opened and closed your fan once, and 2 lines of text sequentially appeared. I possess a partial pill formula here. I trouble clan head Yi to help me complete it, and refine the medicinal pills. A pill formula. Clan head Ye's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up, her heart filled with longing. Medicinal pills on the continent were currently scarce, a major reason being the loss of pill formulas. Even if it was merely a partial pill formula, to the Yi clan, it was incredibly precious. Perhaps they could use it to derive even more medicinal pills. Young master, please come inside. Clan head Ye's attitude became fervent. She could not discern your true depth, but the person beside you was clearly a powerful expert at the soul Douluo level or above. For such a figure to bring a pill formula, it would absolutely not be an ordinary item. The few of you then entered a private room behind the medicinal ingredient storage. You clearly explained the pill formula and the effects of the profound water pill. Not only clan head Ye, but even Siki Xue was inwardly shaken. It could both enhance innate soul power and elevate existing high-level soul power. Such effects alone were enough to drive all soul masters on the continent into a frenzied scramble to acquire it. This pill formula is truly profound. Water elemental essence is inherently cleansing. The profound water pill, refined from the essence blood of water-attributed spirit beasts and spirit herbs, might indeed possess such divine efficacy. Clan head Yi stared intently at the pill formula, golden light blazing in her eyes. She slapped her thigh, awakening to a realization, and muttering to herself, "Why did I not think of such a simple truth before? I kept blindly walking into a dead end." The more she pondered, the more excited she became, her face filled with ecstatic joy. If she could research and refine the profound water pill, it would undoubtedly bring glory that would illuminate her ancestors for the Ye clan. She turned her head to look at you, her gaze filled with gratitude and urgency. "Young man, I accept this deal. Do you have any similar pill formulas?" A faint smile played on your lips, and the folding fan in your hand flicked open with a snap. Clan head Ye should first focus on researching and refining the profound water pill. Indeed, I was too hasty. Clan head Yi quickly composed herself, nodding repeatedly. The selection of medicinal ingredients and experimentation for the profound water pill will consume a significant amount of time. It cannot be rushed. Afterwards, full of admiration, she assessed you, her eyes holding a hint of curiosity. "Young man, why do you dress in such a manner? May I know your name? You not only wear a silver mask, but you also interact with others entirely by writing characters on your folding fan, exuding an unfathomably mysterious aura. Just call me Xuanxing." A line of text appeared on the folding fan. "As for the mask, I was born too dazzling. If I were to walk the streets without wearing it, I fear it would cause the entire street to freeze, making passage impossible." Clan head Yi couldn't help but laugh as she watched the changing characters on the fan, then couldn't resist appraising you from head to toe, hoping to discern some clues from your figure and attire. "Haha, is that truly the reason? Then, may I see your true face?" "No." Shu immediately spoke up, stating with absolute certainty, "Your identity absolutely must not be exposed, not even your appearance." A flicker of disappointment crossed your mind, but you did not insist on removing the mask, merely stating, "I was presumptuous." Clan head Yi did not press the matter further, changing the subject to ask, "Sirs, how should I contact you in the future?" Her mind was entirely focused on researching the profound water pill, and other matters were set aside. "Before long, someone will seek you out." Characters appeared on the fan. This Huyet spoke in a low voice. "Get up. We've wandered long enough today. It's time to return." The matter of the profound water pill was of utmost importance. He had to quickly return to the palace and report to Xianxia. You looked up at the sky, secretly calculating that by now Xianxia had likely finished her tasks, and upon returning, you could snuggle into her embrace and sleep. Just thinking about it brought immense comfort. The two of them had not yet stepped out of the room when a young maiden slowly entered from outside. This young lady appeared barely over 20 years old, with a slender figure. She wore a form-fitting black outfit, her face covered by a thin black silk veil. Her long blue hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall, each strand soft and lustrous. "Leng, why have you returned already?" A smile immediately bloomed on Clan Head Ye's face. She quickly walked over and took the young maiden's arm, then turned her head to introduce her to you and Xue Ye. "This is my humble daughter, Ye Leng, currently studying at the Heaven Du Imperial Academy." Leng had just returned at this moment. Our protagonists felt a stir within them, realizing that the people from Shrek Academy would soon arrive at Heaven Du City. She possessed a pair of eyes the same color as her hair, clear to their depths and unblemished by any impurity. Her slender eyelashes curved delicately, and each blink was filled with graceful vitality, seemingly concealing a myriad of emotions. She slightly bowed towards our protagonist and Chishu, her voice as gentle as a flowing spring. "Hello. I am Ye Leng. The Imperial Fighting Team, this old man knows, is the fastest team to ever ascend to the silver badge level in the spirit arena." Chi Shui looked at Ye Leng, his tone carrying a hint of appreciation. Her role within the team is indispensable. With Ye Leng, who possesses the 9-heart begonia martial spirit, the team will suffer no casualties, and its members can fight with their full strength without any fear or reservations. The only unfortunate aspect of the 9-heart begonia is that only 2 spirit masters possessing this martial spirit can exist in the world simultaneously. Only when one person perishes can the next generation have the potential to awaken another, truly befitting its reputation as the most sparsely numbered martial spirit on the continent. Our protagonist slowly walked a full circle around Ye Leng, meticulously scrutinizing her, as if examining a rare and exotic treasure from another era. Chishu's eyes subtly flickered. The last time our protagonist displayed such an expression was when facing the poisoned Douluo, immediately after which he helped the other party resolve the backlash of the toxins. Given the current situation, could it be that our protagonist also possesses a solution to Ye Leng's problem? The 9-heart begonia is passed down through a single lineage, with only 2 individuals able to exist simultaneously in the world. Our protagonist's paper fan opened once more, revealing a curse. Ye Leng looked at the characters on the fan, her eyes instantly dimming. She nodded slightly, her tone laced with helplessness. "It is as you say. This rule, which necessitates the death of one person as the price for another to inherit this martial spirit, is an endless torment for the Ye family." Her grandmother, to ensure her smooth awakening of the 9-heart begonia, chose to commit suicide when Ye Leng was 6 years old. This is a pain that Ye Leng will never be able to erase throughout her entire life. The head of the Ye family's expression also grew somber. How could he not have experienced such agonizing pain of severed family bonds? Break the curse of the 9-heart begonia. At this very moment, our protagonist's paper fan clicked open once more, revealing a line of text that instantly made the 2 Yi family members' eyes widen, their faces filled with disbelief. "I can likely resolve it." "Can you truly do it, sir?" The head of the Ye family's excited voice trembled, and his body couldn't help but shiver slightly. In Ye Leng's eyes, tears welled up, blurring her vision. If this curse can truly be broken, the Ye family will henceforth be able to have 3 generations live together, no longer enduring the suffering of severed family bonds. "I dare not guarantee absolute feasibility, but I can attempt it once." New lines of text appeared on the paper fan. "Immortal herbs possess special efficacy. After Ye Leng uses them, it is likely she can truly alter her martial spirit's constitution. Moreover, there are still many methods to upgrade martial spirits. For example, with a fusion technique, our protagonist planned to use his own dragon blood to fuse the 9-heart begonia with dragon power, perhaps promoting a mutation of the martial soul." Our protagonist recalled the clan-protecting treasure of the Minzihi clan, the crystal blood dragon ginseng. That miraculous herb contained potent dragon power. If Ye Leng consumed it, and at the same time fused with his own dragon blood, perhaps it truly could cause her 9-heart begonia martial soul to mutate and produce dragon attributes. "Young master," the Yi family head said with an extremely solemn expression, bowing deeply to our protagonist. "I, representing the entire Yi clan, thank young master. Thank you for giving us a glimmer of hope. If young master can help us break the curse, the entire 9-heart begonia clan pledges allegiance to you and will never betray you for eternity." Ye Leng also bowed respectfully, with an attitude of utmost reverence. Regardless of whether our protagonist's method was feasible, just the willingness to lend a hand was already an immense kindness to the Ye family. The Yi family head thought further. Our protagonist could produce such heaven-defying pill formulas as the profound water pill. Perhaps he truly possessed rare and exotic treasures that could change the predicament of their clan's martial souls. Our protagonist returned to the embrace of Xianxia. Afterwards, our protagonist and Chi Shui bid farewell to the 9-heart begonia clan. Upon returning to the imperial palace, Our protagonist was in high spirits. Today's gains were considerable. Not only had he obtained a large amount of essence blood, but he also had hopes of winning over the entire Nine-Heart Begonia clan. As soon as he saw Xianxia, our protagonist immediately dispersed the ethereal mist around his body and plunged his head into her embrace. Eagerly inhaling the familiar milky scent, he felt the warmth. Xiaohei, where did you go today that made you so happy? Tell mother about it. Xianxia gently stroked our protagonist's head, her voice so gentle it seemed water could be squeezed from it. Our protagonist lazily lay in her arms, the mist before him condensed into text, recounting the events of the day. After Xianxia finished reading, her eyes sparkled with wild joy. Whether it was the research of the profound water pill or winning over the Nine-Heart Begonia clan, both were extremely important for her next plans. Once the profound water pill was successfully researched and refined, it could naturally attract countless soulmasters to pledge allegiance to the Spirit Hall, and the healing abilities of the Nine-Heart Begonia were terrifyingly potent. If among the titled Douluo ranks of the Spirit Hall there was just one Nine-Heart Begonia Soulmaster at the Soul Sage level, it would be enough to reduce the casualties of the entire team by more than 90%. This news was like a spring breeze turning into rain, dispelling all her day's fatigue and worries. She tightly embraced our protagonist, placing a loud kiss on his forehead, her tone filled with doting affection. Xiaohei, you truly are mother's precious darling. Xiaohei, whatever reward you want, just tell mother. Xianxia sat by the edge of the bed, gently caressing our protagonist's head, her fingertips gliding over his cold scales, her tone brimming with indulgence. Today, our protagonist had brought her too many pleasant surprises, and just a kiss on the forehead, she felt this reward was simply too perfunctory, fundamentally unworthy of our protagonist's contributions. Our protagonist gave Xianxia a glare, his dragon eyes filled with disdain. Isn't this clearly training me like a pet? If there are no benefits, how can one willingly bring back good things? She gives rewards simply to ensure you continue to gather benefits for her in the future. You are a dignified dragon. How could you possibly submit to a mere human? You proudly raised your dragon head, letting out a forceful snort from your nostrils. The dragon's breath carried a faint warmth, brimming with dissatisfaction. Xiaohei, do you mean to say that such a small matter is nothing to be proud of? Xianxia misunderstood your reaction, and the smile in her eyes deepened. You don't need a reward? How could that be? Every single thing you do for mother, Xiaohei, is a great kindness. Even if you were just to cover mother with a blanket before sleeping at night, mother would still be overjoyed and want to reward you. Who told you, my little Xiaohei, that you are the little black mother loves most? Gently pinching your dragon horn, her tone was exceedingly firm. This reward must be given, and it must be the very best for you. You can make any request you wish. As long as it doesn't trouble mother, I will grant anything. You silently grumbled inwardly, thinking, who would care for her paltry little rewards? Don't you want it? Or perhaps you just wish to stay by mother's side? Seeing you burrow your head into her embrace without any other reaction, the corner of Xianxu's mouth curled into a cunning smile. In her view, no reward could be more practical for you than to snuggle into her embrace and sleep. Xianxu lay down on the bed, her legs gently cradling your dragon body. You were currently 2 meters long. Your dragon body, though still slender, was enough to embrace as one drifted into sleep. She smiled gently, her voice as soft as cotton. Now, Xiaohei, let us sleep soundly. Tonight, we will surely have beautiful dreams. Today, you had indeed played to exhaustion, tightly entwining yourself around Xianxu. Amidst the strong, lingering scent of milk, you quickly began to snore deeply, sleeping soundly. Xianxu's meticulous plan. Early the next morning, as dawn barely broke, Xianxu awoke. Tixu, who had been closely accompanying you yesterday, still had some details to add regarding your actions. So, bowing slightly as he presented himself before her, Tixu said, Young master, now that Emperor Xue Ye is dead, Yang Wushuang no longer needs to craft poisons. His alchemy skills are truly first-rate. Your subordinate wishes to send him to the Yi family's Nine-Heart Begonia to research the profound water pill alongside the Yi family members. The Broken Branch clan and the Yi family are originally 2 great alchemy clans. If they were to join forces, I believe it wouldn't be long before the profound water pill could be successfully researched and refined. Yang Wushuang? Xianxu lightly tapped the tabletop with her finger, pondering carefully for a moment, then decisively shook her head. No. Yang Wushuang's identity is too sensitive. A casual investigation could easily reveal from the Broken Branch clan that he was captured by Spirit Hall. At that point, Xiaohei would easily be labeled as someone from Spirit Hall. Wouldn't that be even better? Tixu Douluo's face showed confusion. If the Yi family's Nine-Heart Begonia knows that Spirit Hall is helping them, they will become even closer to Spirit Hall. Furthermore, when that time comes, the profound water pills they refine will be supplied to us first. Doing so would be a waste of the advantage I gained by serving as an undercover agent in the Heaven Dew Empire. Xianxu's eyes turned cold, and her tone deepened. Moreover, if the Yi family openly joins Spirit Hall, other forces will absolutely not stand by idly, especially the 7 treasure glazed tile clan. Their ambitions burn fiercely. By then, they will surely use every possible scheme to obstruct us. They control the majority of the continent's economy and resources, so our activities in refining the profound water pill will sooner or later be discovered and suppressed by them. Then, young master, what do you wish to do? Qi Shui suddenly realized the profound implications and hastily leaned forward. Let Xiao He maintain a neutral stance for now. A calculating glint flashed in Xianxu's eyes. I want it to win over more forces in the future, forming a faction of its own. Once the profound water pill is successfully researched and manufactured, countless forces will wish to join. By then, the 7 treasure glazed tile sect will have no choice but to cooperate with Xiao He's faction due to the profound water pill. At that time, not only will they not obstruct us, but they will even release a large amount of capital to promote the mass production of the profound water pill. And will this output not ultimately be decided by us? A confident smile curved at the corner of Xianxu's mouth. By simply using a few profound water pills, we can seize a large amount of resources from the 7 treasure glazed tile sect. This business venture will undoubtedly be profitable, not a loss. In this world, secretly accomplishing great deeds is absolutely not something that can be achieved overnight. If the profound water pill is to be mass-produced in the future, it will naturally form a complete supply chain. The 7 treasure glazed tile sect and other major forces are by no means ordinary. They will discover clues sooner or later. It is better to simply announce the profound water pill to the public. By then, all forces on the continent will actively provide medicinal ingredients and the refined essence blood of select water attribute spirit beasts, begging the Zhu Xin Haitong family to refine the profound water pill. Who would know that this seemingly neutral Zhu Xin Haitong family has long since pledged allegiance to the Spirit Hall? Furthermore, Xiao He can leverage the power of the Spirit Hall, deliberately inflating the price and scarcity of the profound water pill, causing outsiders to pay multiple times its value to obtain it, even reaching a point where it is priceless and unavailable. The Spirit Hall, manipulating everything from behind the scenes, can then seize the opportunity to drain the treasuries of the major forces, causing them to lose a great number of experts while hunting water attribute spirit beasts for their essence blood. While the Spirit Hall can nurture its strength and sharpen its elite forces, gradually infiltrating other forces, believing that it won't take long to conquer the entire Douluo continent at the smallest possible cost. Qi Shui Douluo was utterly convinced by the young master's brilliance. Bowing repeatedly, he stated, "This subordinate is infinitely inferior to the young master's far-sighted vision. If it were I who created a supreme treasure like the profound water pill, I would surely hide it and develop it in secret, not knowing that without the backing of resources, no matter how powerful an item, it would be difficult to truly utilize. However, the refining of the profound water pill cannot solely rely on the Ye family and Xianxu's contributions. Let Yang Wushuang also secretly research it. Finally, the research results from both sides, exchanged by you, can be considered 2 factions implicitly joining forces. During this time, secretly acquire various water element medicinal ingredients. When the price of profound water pills soars, we can sell these ingredients at a high price to major powers, aggressively securing a massive profit." Tich Huyet was utterly astonished upon hearing this. A mere profound water pill, yet it was designed with such an intricate, mysterious stratagem. It truly commanded awe. Afterwards, he bowed respectfully and excused himself, descending to arrange the various tasks. As Xianxu, Emperor of the Heaven Du Empire, she naturally had to attend morning court at dawn. She stretched, extending her graceful figure, planning to bathe first to be refreshed before handling court affairs. She removed her outer robe, preparing to step into the bath. On the bed, you suddenly rubbed your eyes with your dragon claws, drowsily waking up. Seeing her walk towards the bath and remove her clothes, you immediately understood her intention. Bathing was, indeed, your most cherished activity. You immediately wriggled your dragon body, swiftly sliding off the bed like lightning, flying towards the bath. With a resounding splash, you plunged headfirst into the warm water, sending foam spraying everywhere. Xianxu, who had been leaning against the edge of the bath, soaking herself, was completely drenched. She watched, dumbfounded, as you slipped in, her cheeks instantly flushing crimson. She hastily waved her hand, saying, "Xiao He, quickly go outside and wait. You can come in after mother finishes her bath." You fundamentally ignored her, thrashing your tail and diving deeper into the water, your dragon body coiled around her thigh, ceaselessly creeping upwards. Xianxu's face flushed so crimson it seemed it might bleed. Both angry and embarrassed, she gently patted your dragon claws. "Where are you burrowing to? Get out! If you refuse to listen again, you will be forbidden from playing today. Xiao He, don't put everything into your mouth. That is utterly unhygienic." She grabbed the scruff of your neck, her beautiful face burning scarlet, a mixture of embarrassment and fury. You shook your head, several large, distinct bumps prominently swelling on your forehead, one glance revealing you had just endured a thorough beating. Yet you deliberately assumed a bewildered, innocent expression, and deep within your eyes, a hint of tiny grievance lingered, as if you had just been unjustly beaten. And the one truly at fault was fundamentally not you. Seeing your demeanor, Xianxu's heart immediately trembled. She secretly reflected on whether she had been too harsh with you just now. Moreover, you only wished to bathe with her and cling to her because of your affection for her. Your actions were fundamentally not wrong, they were merely an expression of affection. This was akin to a household puppy, seeing its owner's fondness for money, one day returning from outside with a large golden chain. Yet the owner was not only displeased, but proceeded to give the puppy a thorough beating. How heartbroken would the puppy be in such a situation? The more Xianxu pondered, the more remorseful she became, feeling she should not have been so strict with you just now. Yet ultimately, some things simply could not be allowed. She raised her hand and gently stroked your head, her voice softening, carrying an apologetic tone. Xue Ye, mother is not angry with you, nor will she punish you. From now on, if you wish to bathe, then bathe with mother. Your two eyes immediately rounded wide, an expression of wild joy spreading across your face. Your head tilted, presenting a truly amusing sight. Ha ha, Xue Ye, don't touch indiscriminately. Xianxu was tickled all over by your actions. She couldn't help but burst into laughter, her voice clear and bright like silver bells. But it wasn't long before her laughter ceased, a blush spreading across her cheeks, and her tone suddenly grew serious. Xue Ye, you may bathe with me, but not every place can be touched or licked. That is quite unhygienic. Promise, mother, you won't do such things again. Wawoo! The protagonist yelped, with several large bumps on his head, temporarily becoming obedient. Just now, he had only probed a few times, unexpectedly receiving a blow. Yet upon careful reflection, it didn't seem like a loss. As for obedience, how could that be? Next time, he still dared to join Lanba Academy. Lanba Academy was situated in a small forest next to the prosperous area of Tiandu City, its geographical location possessing unique advantages. The academy's arched gate was as tall as Tiandu City's main gate, though its material was somewhat delicate. The entrance still stood a full 10 meters high, exuding an extraordinary aura. The archway, carved from white jade, was not considered luxurious, but it exuded an aura of solemnity. Upon the archway, 8 large gilded characters, carved in the style of flying dragons and dancing phoenixes, read, Lanba Advanced Spirit Master Academy. What are you here for? At the gate, the gatekeeping elder assessed the two newcomers. When his gaze fell upon the protagonist, a look of astonishment appeared on his face. Why does this person wear such a ridiculous mask? Indeed, the arrivals were the protagonist and Qi Xue. The refinement of the Xuanhui pill still required some time, so the protagonist decisively went out to explore a dungeon, intending to bring Lanba Academy into his grasp. If he could also conquer that dragoness, Liu Erlong, then it would be even more exhilarating. Greetings. I have brought this child to your esteemed academy for enrollment. May I inquire where the registration office is located? Qishu wore a gentle smile, and his soft tone made it very difficult for anyone to feel aversion towards him. The enrollment period has long since passed. The gatekeeping elder waved his hand and added, however, our Lanba Academy's dean is a friendly person who has always welcomed common spirit masters to join. As long as you possess the required spirit power and can prove your commoner status, you may come here to study. As an elder of the martial spirit hall, it was truly as easy as turning his hand for Qi Xue to prepare a martial spirit proof for the protagonist. He hastily presented the prepared proof. The gatekeeper received it. He glanced over it a few times, and after confirming there were no issues, he nodded. All right, student Xuanqing. Release your martial spirit for me to see. The gatekeeper put away the martial spirit proof. If your martial spirit and spirit power are suitable, I will lead you to the Dean of Instruction to register. If it's merely releasing a martial spirit, then it is very simple. Ji Shu nodded, then suddenly seemed to recall something. My child, due to some incidents, cannot speak. Surely, this will not affect his registration? Upon hearing this, the doorkeeper's gaze towards the protagonist showed a few more hints of pity. Cannot speak. Then isn't he mute? However, Lanbei Academy has always treated everyone equally, never discriminating against any talented spirit master. This world ultimately reveres the strong. Even if one is mute, as long as their strength is formidable, they will still earn the respect of others. Shi Shu nodded in satisfaction, then turned and gestured to the protagonist to release his martial spirit. With a thought, currents of water immediately swirled slowly around the protagonist. A clear water orb condensed into shape in his palm, and simultaneously, 2 yellow and 2 purple. 4 spirit rings rose from beneath his feet, encircling his body. Based on his water mist ability, not only could the protagonist disguise his true dragon form as a human, but creating a few spirit rings to deceive others was also as easy as turning his hand. The elder guarding the gate witnessed this scene, and immediately widened his eyes in astonishment, his mouth agape for a long time. A four-ring spirit sect, at such a young age. With talent of this caliber, if he were to enter the academy, he would undoubtedly become a future captain-level figure for the academy's battle teams. The smile on his face immediately became exceptionally enthusiastic. He hurriedly bowed and led the way, saying, "Quickly, please come in. I will immediately take you to the instructing envoy to register." He was eager for the protagonist to instantly become a student of Lanbot Academy, a four-ring spirit sect, possessing such cultivation at such a young age. "Young brother, you truly are exceptionally talented for your age." Just then, a gentle voice drifted from behind. The protagonist and Xue Ye turned their heads simultaneously, their expressions changing. They silently exclaimed, "How could it be such a coincidence?" They saw Qian Rengsu, in her disguise as Xue Ye, standing not far away with Ning Fengji and his group. Their appearance also suggested they intended to visit Lanbao Academy. Ning Fengji's face was like jade, with a high nose and square mouth. His demeanor was elegant and gentle, his pristine white robe untouched by dust. At first glance, he appeared to be in his early 40s. His gaze was as gentle as water. He looked just like a scholar who couldn't even trust a chicken. His soft, black hair flowed freely down his back. Every gesture exuded a natural and unrestrained elegance, without a trace of forced pretense. He smiled gently at the protagonist. "Young brother, what is your name?" Qian Rengshu recognized Xue and the protagonist with a single glance, yet her expression remained unchanged. She merely offered a warm smile that made others feel as if bathed in a spring breeze. Seeing that the protagonist did not respond, Ning Fengji shifted his gaze to Xue beside him. Xue's heart tensed. He quickly clasped his hands and said, "My child cannot speak. His name is Xuan Qing. We are both ordinary commoners." As soon as these words were spoken, they only served to arouse greater suspicion. Behind Ning Fengji soared Douluo, his gaze suddenly sharpened, pinning directly onto Xue Ye. He could clearly perceive the formidable spirit power within the opponent's body, but without making a move to probe, it was very difficult to ascertain his true strength. As for our protagonist, he felt a slight incomprehension. However, Ning Fengji was inherently a man who appreciated talent, regardless of the opponent's background. As long as they possessed innate talent, he would always endeavor to recruit them. He smiled at our protagonist. "Young brother Xuan Qing, you are young and exceptionally talented. It so happens that we also wish to meet Dean Liu. Why not accompany us to Blue Tyrant Academy? To accept a student like you, Dean Liu would undoubtedly be overjoyed. That is only natural." Xue Qinghe spoke in a light tone, his voice carrying a hint of emotion. "Aunt Erlong's academy. This generation of students does not seem as formidable as the previous one. The previous batch, the battle team led by Aunt Erlong, even defeated our Heaven Do Imperial Academy's second team." Following this, our protagonist and the other individual closely followed Xue Qinghe's party into the academy. The scenery of Blue Tyrant Academy was elegant and refined. The lush, verdant trees throughout made one feel completely refreshed and exceptionally comfortable. Not long after, a middle-aged woman quickly emerged from deep within the academy. Upon seeing Xue Qinghe and Ning Fengji, the arrogant expression on her face immediately softened considerably. She bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, why have you graced us with your presence?" Xue Qinghe was currently the monarch of the Heaven Dao Empire. Even with Liu Erlong's proud temperament, she still had to show some deference. "Aunt Erlong, to speak like that is too formal." Xue Qinghe hastily waved his hand, his tone earnest. "Even if I have become the emperor of the Heaven Dao Imperial family, I am still Xue Qinghe. Aunt Erlong, you should still call me Qinghe." Liu Erlong's beautiful eyes flickered. She inherently held no reverence for the imperial family. Even the great Emperor Xue Ye from before, at his most formidable, was merely a five-ring spirit king. As for Xue Qinghe's strength, it was even less worth mentioning. She smiled faintly and replied candidly, "Very well, Qinghe. Why have you come to my place? This place of mine is for teaching, and I do not wish to interfere with the struggles between the imperial family and other factions." "Ah, Aunt Erlong, we should still congratulate you first. The academy is about to welcome a student with extraordinary talent." Xue Qinghe let out two chuckles, then leaned aside, yielding his position, and pushing our protagonist forward, to stand before Liu Erlong. A flicker of doubt passed through Liu Erlong's eyes. Our protagonist's face was completely obscured by a mask. It was truly peculiar. "Dean, my child wishes to join Blue Tyrant Academy. This is their spirit-proof document." Xue Ye hastily presented the document, adding, "The child is naturally deficient and cannot speak. I hope the dean understands." Four rings. A four-ring spirit sect. When Xue Qinghe mentioned that the academy was about to gain an outstanding disciple, Liu Erlong took the proof document and examined it, a surge of joy instantly rising in her heart. The masked individual standing right before her was indeed a spirit sect. The age recorded on the document was extremely young, meaning they could not only participate in this session's Grand Spirit Master Tournament, but also remain within the age limits for the next session. Already a 4-ring spirit sect, their talent was astonishing. If they cultivated for another 5 or 6 years, it was likely they could break through to a 5-ring spirit king, or even a 6-ring spirit emperor. By then, for our protagonist to lead Blue Tyrant Academy's team to claim the championship of the grand tournament would be practically a certainty. It was no wonder Xue Ye praised them so highly. Liu Erlong suppressed the excitement in her heart, looking at you seriously. Do you truly wish to enroll in Lanba Academy? You nodded your head, your paper fan gently swaying. On the fan's surface, a character appeared. Yes, this manner of conduct truly possessed a unique individuality. Yet, in a world where strength is revered, as long as one's power is sufficiently mighty, regardless of who lies beneath the mask or what their appearance may be, they can earn the respect of others. The exchange between Xiao He and young friend Ning Fengji. This is a 7 treasures card from the 7 treasures glazed tile sect, containing 1 million gold spirit coins as preloaded funds. With this card, any purchases made at stores in the East Gate will receive a 20% discount. To be able to meet a talented youth like you today can be considered a destined encounter. Ning Fengji took out a card that emitted a 7-colored light and presented it. His expression, gentle. This was merely the 7 treasures glazed tile sect's most common method of enticement, using their abundant wealth to gain the favor of a soul master prodigy. No matter how one looked at it, it was a profitable deal. 1 million gold spirit coins provided immense aid to a soul master's cultivation. Once you mature into a powerful expert, this favor would forever be etched in your mind. Even if one ultimately did not join the sect, they would absolutely not become an enemy of the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. 1 million gold spirit coins. The annual expenditure of an ordinary family did not even exceed a single gold spirit coin. Such a vast sum of money, if distributed among commoners, who knows how many people it could benefit. You did not open your mouth. Your fan continuously folded and unfolded, lines of characters gradually appearing on its surface. Liu Erlong couldn't help but regard you in a higher esteem. No wonder such a genius sought out Lanba Academy. It turned out you harbored a benevolent heart, pitying the weak. Observing the Academy's rule of only admitting commoner students, she felt your character was exceedingly precious, worthy of her personal guidance. And she felt reassured. For Lanba Academy needed precisely such individuals the most. Those lines of characters caused Ning Fengji's expression to stiffen. He felt that the other party was subtly ridiculing him for lacking compassion for commoners. He had not yet thought of how to respond when the fan in your hand gently flicked open once more, drawing everyone's full attention. You said you would give this money to me. Could you then help me distribute it to the common folk in remote villages? Their lives are arduous. They barely eat meat a few times a year. A wave of stubborn indignation rose within Ning Fengji's heart. This 1 million was originally advance funding for cultivation. Xiao Song would not only have to repay it, but also owe the 7 treasures glazed tile sect a favor. Yet you wanted to distribute all of it to the common folk. The benefits would fall into others' hands. How much good reputation could he himself retain? However, he could not utter these words aloud. His purpose for coming here this time was originally to persuade Liu Erlong, promote cooperation with Lanba Academy, and recruit commoner soul masters into the sect's fold. Naturally, he had to display a posture of renewed compassion. You were merely a young man still willing to take out 1 million. He, aiming for the position of the world's #1 sect, how could he possibly lack such magnanimity? Ning Fengji faintly smiled. Young friend, for you to consider the common folk, I, Ning, truly admire you. Why should you have to spend this 1 million? I will personally dip into my own purse to distribute it among the common folk. Furthermore, each year hereafter, I will provide an additional 100,000 gold spirit coins to aid villagers in remote areas. That is excellent. My 1 million, combined with your 1 million, will certainly bring great benefits to the villagers. The protagonist diligently fanned himself. Ning Fengji's smile froze on his face. This was clearly an instance of being exploited without recompense. 2 million golden spirit coins was a sum that would pain even the 7 treasure glazed tile sect to part with immediately, let alone an expenditure with no hope of return. He still had to maintain his gentle smile. Young friend, you are truly kind-hearted. I will take the 1 million in my card and distribute it among the common people. Qilin Rengshu, standing beside him, narrowed her eyes in a smile, and quickly spoke. Esteemed elder, on behalf of the countless common people of the Heavendu Empire, I express gratitude for the generosity of both sirs. Ning Fengji's heart bled, but his expression remained gentle. The Heavendao Emperor was originally his disciple. Distributing this money to the common folk could stimulate the imperial economy, fostering more troops and spirit masters, and would eventually yield returns for himself. At this moment, the text on the protagonist's paper fan reappeared, causing Ning Fengji to almost lose his composure. The common people of the Heavendu Empire have received 2 million. What about the populace of the Star Luo Empire? Naturally, they cannot be forgotten either. 2 million. 2 million for each empire. Ning Fengji almost gritted his teeth as he spoke. The matter of recruiting Lanbao Academy has not even been settled, yet he has already had to fork out 4 million golden spirit coins. It truly felt like his own flesh was being carved away. But to maintain his image, he could only clench his teeth and bear it. A hint of displeasure appeared on Xian Rengshu's face. She was currently the Empress of the Heaven Dew Empire. What logic was there in suddenly offering money to Star Luo? Yet inwardly, flowers had already bloomed in her heart. Regardless of Heaven Dao or Star Luo, both would eventually become subjects of the Spirit Hall. She couldn't help but glance at the protagonist again. This boy was truly cunning. Working in tandem with her, he had instantly extracted a colossal sum of 4 million from Ning Fengji. Are you willing to acknowledge me as your master? I greatly admire your character and your way of doing things. Liu Erlong's expression was solemn, her serious gaze fixed upon the protagonist. Even before the admission procedures were complete, she was eagerly trying to take a disciple, perhaps a little too impatient. Ning Fengji cursed silently in his heart. Old fox. If the protagonist were to become Liu Erlong's disciple, wouldn't his 4 million be a wasted effort? Outsiders might not know, but how could he be unaware of the relationship between Liu Erlong and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan? Qian Rengshu's heart trembled. If the protagonist were to become Liu Erlong's disciple, her influence would naturally expand much faster. The resources of Lanbao Academy's teachers and students would largely be absorbed by the protagonists. The 7 treasure glazed tile sect would have made a wasted trip. For her, this was a good outcome, yet inwardly, she still felt a sense of unease. The protagonist was like her own child. To ask him to acknowledge another as master, she simply couldn't bear it. She wished to personally nurture him. From a young age she had lost her father, and her mother had been indifferent and uncaring. She did not want the protagonist to repeat her past mistakes, becoming a sacrificial pawn for politics. She only hoped he could live a free and joyful life. The protagonist looked towards Liu Erlong, sneering inwardly. To think she, of all people, wishes to be my master? Truly arrogant and overconfident. The protagonist was here to conquer, not to play family games of master and disciple. The protagonist shook his head, his paper fan waving. A domineering line of text appeared. To be my master, you are not yet qualified. Liu Erlong's brows furrowed slightly. She had predicted that you might have a master's lineage, and would thus refuse. But she never expected such blunt contempt. However, recalling your inherent compassion, she swallowed her anger, calmly nodded, and said, It was my impudence. Welcome to Lanbao Academy. Ning Fengji let out a sigh of relief. It is for the best that you did not take a master. You must be seeking a stronger one. A mere soul saint like Liu Erlong is indeed not qualified. But your martial soul is of the water element, so neither sword Douluo nor bone Douluo would be suitable. After all, a titled Douluo is still a titled Douluo. No one in this world can refuse a titled Douluo taking them as a disciple. It's just that those two have rigid dispositions, so it's not something he can arrange with a single word. No rush. You are not truly mature yet. Your days are still long. Qian Rengshu felt immensely pleased upon seeing this. Indeed, her own child was exceptional. Even powerhouses at the titled Douluo level could be swayed. How could a mere soul saint like Liu Erlong be worthy of being your master? It would be too much of a slight against you. Afterwards, accompanied by other elders, you completed the enrollment procedures. Liu Erlong, Qian Rengshu, and Ning Fengji remained in the room to deliberate. When they finally emerged, the complexions of Qian Rengshu and Ning Fengji were not good. Evidently, they had not achieved the desired outcome. Subduing the stubborn dragoness. Do you know why I refused them? Liu Erlong's tone was calm. You glared at her. Who could possibly know what such an abrupt statement implied? She did not beat around the bush, her gaze looking towards the deep forest, saying, Too much commotion. This elder is too indolent to concern myself with such trivial matters. You were stunned, thinking she did not want students to be entangled in power struggles. Unexpectedly, it was simply because she detested trouble. Indeed, a soul saint-level powerhouse, whether in Heaven Dao or Star Luo, belongs to the top echelon. They naturally need not show deference to anyone. Quite surprising, wouldn't you agree? You must remember that a soul master should focus solely on cultivation. Their martial soul is the true foundation, while all other things are but fleeting clouds. Liu Erlong adopted a lecturing stance. You raised your brows, fanning your fan in rebuttal. Cultivation requires vast amounts of resources. They do not simply appear by merely sitting and contemplating. Liu Erlong glanced at you in astonishment. You understand this so clearly, yet you distributed all of Ning Fengji's money away. Your fan flickered lightly. It's not that I don't want it, but that meager sum simply isn't worth my attention. With Qian Rengshu as your backing, and having occupied the ice and fire yin-yang, Well, how could you possibly lack such a small amount of money? HMPH. Young one, it seems your purpose in coming to Lombat Academy is not so simple after all. Liu Erlong, suppressing her anger, her gaze filled with ill will, stared fixedly at you. Your lips curled slightly, and characters appeared on your paper fan. Do you know why I said you are not worthy of being my master? Speak your piece. Liu Erlong, with her inherently fiery temperament, now only felt that your previously kind and pure demeanor was entirely a facade. She had actually been deceived. The fact that she had not directly moved to burn you to ashes was already the absolute limit of her patience. You are too fierce. I like it very much. Not only did text appear on the fan's surface, but at the bottom, there was also a drawing. You were using a dog leash to lead Liu Erlong, one foot trampling on her head. Upon seeing this, Liu Erlong exploded in a furious rage, her entire body blazing with fire. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black spirit rings lit up in succession. Her hand, enveloped in flames, lunged forward as she let out an angry roar. You are courting death. Mist swirled around you, instantaneously enveloping the surrounding space. The scene before Liu Erlong's eyes was completely white. Her furthest vision only reached 2 meters. That sneaky, evasive figure? Get out here! She raised one hand above her head to grasp, her other hand shielded her chest, and with a slight release from her pinky finger, a fireball shot powerfully into the air and dispersed in all directions. Wherever the fireball passed, the mist quickly dissipated. She frowned, faintly seeing a black streak flash by. Her ring finger then released, and a second fireball shot out. 2 fireballs soared and whirled through the mist, and her vision became slightly clearer. Immediately after that, her middle finger, index finger, and thumb were successively unleashed. 5 fireballs extended to form a domain of fire. She stood firmly at the center, as the surrounding mist was rapidly burned away. But when she clearly saw the scene before her, Liu Erlong's entire body trembled. That was actually a black dragon. Is that your soul skill? Isn't your martial soul water attributed? How could it transform into a black dragon? The stellar flames from 5 fingers are somewhat interesting. Then, let's see how you fare against this move of mine. Around the black dragon, countless water dragon clones emerged. A glance revealed there were hundreds of them. Originally, when slaying Emperor Xue Ye, he could only manifest half a clone. Ever since absorbing the Ice Dragon King's dragon core at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang, well, his strength soared. The clones now number 100. And each clone possesses power identical to the main body. What kind of soul skill is this? Seeing hundreds of water dragons, Liu Erlong was utterly stunned into a daze. Is this the power that a soul elder can possess? She dared not be careless, and directly activated her martial soul true body. Behind her, a colossal, blazing fire dragon condensed. My attacks are very swift. You must be careful. The mist around him surged, and his voice transmitted from within. The corner of Liu Erlong's mouth twitched. What kind of audacious words were those? But in the very next second, she could no longer force a smile. Hundreds of water dragons opened their mouths and unleashed water arrow techniques. The roaring sound of rushing wind formed a continuous torrent as water arrows poured down like torrential rain directly onto Liu Erlong's fire dragon true body. Though their power was not considered extremely strong, they struck her so miserably that she was overwhelmed. What terrified her even more was that his water arrows were forcefully extinguishing her flames. The fire dragon instantly receded to a deep red hue. Her fire dragon's blazing flames had always been formidable, and it was extremely rare for them to be suppressed to this extent by water-attributed soul power. To achieve that only proved that his water attribute's essence far surpassed that of ordinary people. The 5 clusters of fireballs hovering around Liu Erlong also successively extinguished. After the baptism of the water arrows, she looked exactly like a drenched rooster. Roar! The fire dragon let out an ear-splitting roar, and a destructive wave of fire surged out from its wide maw. He snapped his fingers, and similarly let out a roar, as a thick, enormous water pillar crashed forward, precisely colliding with the wave of fire. Where mist surged, a pillar of water, with destructive force, directly extinguished the flames. Its momentum undiminished, it surged forward, striking directly at Liu Erlong, sending both her and her martial spirit true body tumbling to the ground. Liu Erlong's aura weakened considerably, as continuously unleashing numerous soul skills had caused immense depletion of her soul power. He glided over with a whoosh, his dragon body firmly coiling around her. Her entire body was thoroughly soaked by the cold water, her clothes clinging to her, outlining her soft curves. He coiled tightly around her, calmly sensing the sensations emanating from beneath him. What in the world is this? Get off this old woman at once! Liu Erlong cursed furiously, her hands grabbing the dragon's whiskers and pulling with force. But the surface of his scales was smooth and slick, offering her no leverage whatsoever. He showed no restraint, taking advantage of the situation to tear off her outer garments. Unable to resist for long, Liu Erlong collapsed weakly to the ground. He took out a leash and placed it around her neck, his dragon body coiling around her with imposing majesty. With a whooshing sound, steam condensed into words before Liu Erlong's eyes. The words read, "Liu Erlong, submit willingly." Liu Erlong fumed internally. "So you are a soul beast, detestable. You want this old woman to submit? Dream on." Arrogant by nature, how could Liu Erlong ever bow her head before a mere soul beast? Upon receiving this answer, the dragon grew even more excited. A wild, unruly, stubborn, and defiant dragoness. Now that was truly meaningful. The process of taming her would certainly be filled with excitement. This dragon would see how long she could maintain her defiance. That vile dragon! Even if this old woman dies, she will absolutely not submit to you. Liu Erlong was so enraged, her eyes seemed ready to burst. He wasted no more words. Coiling around her, he dragged her deep into the dense forest. Liu Erlong gritted her teeth, her eyes red and swollen. Legends of the dragon race, known for their inherently lustful nature, flashed through her mind. This silver dragon dragging her into the deep forest, and even tearing her clothes. His intentions were far too obvious. Let go. Let this old woman go. If you, silver dragon, dare to touch a single strand of this old woman's hair, this old woman will surely chop you into 10,000 pieces, flaying every piece of your flesh. She roared hoarsely. She would rather die than endure this humiliation. Such big words. If you are so capable, then come and fight me. He was filled with contempt. A mere human had already been subdued, and he hadn't even used his reversing river technique. If he were to unleash it, she wouldn't even be able to use her soul skills, only to be utterly at his mercy. He bound Liu Erlong tightly to a tree trunk, then used a piece of black cloth to blindfold her. Her vision taken away, Liu Erlong grew even more anxious, her curses becoming more ferocious. Suddenly, something was forced into her mouth, carrying a faint aroma, and the taste was surprisingly not bad. Liu Erlong instinctively wanted to spit it out, but he coiled tightly around her head, firmly clamping her chin, forcing her to swallow it. What have you fed this old woman?" A wave of hot energy spread from her throat throughout her entire body, like flames burning every inch of her flesh. Even her soul power showed faint signs of recovery, but now she was tightly bound. Even if her strength increased several-fold, she would have no way to escape. He pulled the black cloth from her eyes, a smile playing on the corners of his mouth, and words appeared before her. Did it taste good? For you humans, this is a divine medicine. What divine medicine? What exactly did you make this old woman drink? Liu Erlong's expression suddenly changed. She violently thought of something, and her stomach immediately churned with an overwhelming sensation, feeling that her entire body was unwell. Oh, it seems you have already guessed it. How is the taste of Long Xijiang? Has your cultivation not grown a little more? You damned Yin Long! This old woman swears she will absolutely not spare you. Liu Erlong's killing intent flared fiercely. At this moment, she and our protagonist were in an irreconcilable situation, a struggle to the death. Too fierce, it seems you still want more. As he spoke, our protagonist replaced the black cloth. Liu Erlong was forced to drink until she was full to bursting. Her entire being began to doubt life itself. She would rather our protagonist use her as a tool for venting than endure this kind of humiliation. This was even more unbearable than being killed. Liu Erlong's submission could not be rushed, and our protagonist was not in a hurry either. Our protagonist found where she usually stayed, dug an underground pit, imprisoned her within, then transformed into human form, put on the mask again, and left as if nothing had ever happened. Our protagonist had no slightest interest in the people and affairs at Lanbal Academy. Seeing that it was still early, he decided to go to the Zhu Xin Haitang family to see the progress of the medicinal pill refinement. He might even be able to lend a hand. Our protagonist pondered. What kind of effect would be created if his own blood was integrated into the Xuan Shui pill, opening new cells for Ye Langlang's little black? You've come out, so are you returning to the Imperial Palace or going somewhere else now? Qi Shui did not follow our protagonist into the academy, but stood guard outside the gates. He had to both protect our protagonist's safety and ensure our protagonist did not act recklessly outside. Our protagonist, referring to the Yi family's Zhu Xin Haitang, said, "That is excellent. This is the research outcome of Yang Wushuang during this period. You will deliver this to the Yeg family head later. Just say, it is our own experience." Qi Shui handed over a small notebook. Our protagonist casually flipped through it a few times. Inside were entirely records of failed experiments from the initial trials. It recorded the characteristics and taboos of various herbs. Giving this to the Yeg family could help them save a tremendous amount of trial and error time. For instance, this medicinal ingredient's properties are too pungent, not gentle enough. And this medicinal ingredient's potency, when compounded, will become extremely overbearing. The Yek family head looked at the notebook our protagonist brought, and, in an instant, understood many previously perplexing points. With this knowledge, the progress of refining the Xianxia pill could be significantly accelerated. Young master, this is 9-star tea, produced by our Jushin Haitung family's 1,000-year-old tea trees. Ye Lengleng carried 2 cups of tea over. One she offered to our protagonist, and one to Qishu. These past few days, she had been helping her mother in the alchemy refining area. Mother and daughter were both determined to break the curse of the Jushin Haitung martial soul, believing that our protagonist held the corresponding pill formula, and eagerly hoped to help our protagonist refine the Xianxia pill quickly. To quickly seek the method of resolution, our protagonist took a sip of the 9-star tea. The tea was sweet and citrus-flavored, with a long, lingering aftertaste. Our protagonist also obtained their research files from the Ye family, which he would bring back to Yang Wushuang later. Our protagonist was somewhat unconvinced by Qian Rengshu's approach, finding that splitting the work into 2 separate paths for execution was undeniably too troublesome. If it were me, our protagonist thought, I would instead gather all the Soul Master alchemists under my command, even confiscating the stronghold of the Broken Branch clan. Wouldn't the efficiency be much higher? If he couldn't understand, he wouldn't bother thinking about it. The Xianxia pill was originally just a pretext for our protagonist to contact and subdue the Yi family. Taking Yi Lengleng as a mount was his ultimate goal. I recently had some ideas. Why not try them out first? He looked at Ye Lengleng. Her paper fan gently waved, and water mist condensed into words. Young master, is this matter related to the 9-heart begonia curse? Yi Lengleng's heart pounded. She only felt this matter had come too quickly. Yes. Young lady, are you willing? Your smile was hidden beneath your mask. I am willing, young master, she replied. Thank you, honored sir. Thank you, honored sir. Ye Lengleng wiped away her tears and excitedly sobbed aloud. Patriarch Ye also revealed a smile. The more he looked at you, the more pleased he felt. He had thought you would wait until you obtained the profound water pill before offering aid, but he hadn't expected you to begin right away. This individual was indeed highly trustworthy. Relax your entire body. Do not resist, you instructed. With a slight shift of your intention, several streams of water arranged themselves into lines of text, floating in midair. Yi Lengleng nodded, completely relaxed her body, and allowed you to proceed. Qinshu looked at you with doubt, somewhat unable to grasp the thought. Could merely relying on water control truly resolve the agonizing curse that had plagued the 9-heart begonia clan for 1,000 years? He remembered when he heard you could help them defy heaven and change their fate. He had even thought you would retrieve an immortal herb from the ice and fire dual lair. However, you had always been extremely mysterious. Your domain was powerful, and your true strength was unfathomable. Thus, possessing some strange methods was not surprising. Streams of water enveloped Ye Lengleng's body under your exquisite control, slowly permeating deep into her body. Gentle water-attributed energy flowed through all her limbs and bones, penetrating deep into her meridians. You were fundamentally not breaking any martial spirit curse. You were merely experiencing a sudden flash of inspiration. You recalled Tang San once used mysterious heaven skill to help his disciple clear meridians. In Douluo Dalu Part 2, Huo Yuhao was also once helped by Bebe to do something similar. Your mastery over the water element had reached perfection. It was not impossible to use the water element to help people cleanse their bodies. The profound water pill could eliminate impurities and strengthen meridians. Your water, too, had no reason not to be able to do the same. Tiny water elements slowly carried away the dross on the surface of her skin, penetrating deep into the meridians, gently impacting them, and gradually clearing every obstructed point. After this session of cleansing, all the meridians within Ye Lengleng's body were completely clear, and her future cultivation would undoubtedly proceed much more smoothly. However, your spiritual power did not possess the powerful and great efficacy of medicinal herbs to nourish the meridians. At its peak, it could only be regarded as clearing a clogged pipe. You've suddenly had another thought. Since you could gently draw out the impurities from her body, could you take this opportunity to introduce something else? You walked in front of Ye Lengleng. From an outsider's perspective, they would only see you placing your hand on her shoulder. Beneath the obscuring water mist, you bit the tip of your tongue. Your slender tongue probed between her lips, transferring a drop of dragon's essence blood. You urged your power, allowing that drop of dragon blood to spread throughout her body via her blood vessels. The vast power of the dragon blood caused Ye Lengleng's entire body to grow scorching hot, and her skin flushed a vibrant crimson. Fortunately, your strength was formidable, and the dragon blood itself was of the most gentle water attribute. Otherwise, her body would have already burst apart. This process lasted for approximately 2 hours. When you withdrew, Ye Lengleng seemed as though she had been thoroughly cleansed from inside out. Her fair skin glowed with a rosy hue, appearing like a glistening, sweet confection. Lengleng, how do you feel? Patriarch Ye quickly strode to his daughter's side, his face etched with worry. Ye Lengleng blinked her eyes, raised her hand to feel the changes within her body. Her eyes shone with astonishing brilliance. This sensation was akin to having consumed a mysterious water pill, Her entire body felt incomparably comfortable and at ease, her soul power flowing swiftly and smoothly, like never before. She had never experienced such a state of lightness. But what about the martial soul? What the Yi family head cared about most was still the martial soul. How good could the mysterious water pill's effects truly be? If, beneath the heavens, there could only be two nine-heart begonia soul masters, it would not fundamentally solve the problem. Ye Langlang hastily released her martial soul. A two-colored, red and white begonia slowly bloomed, its petals delicate, its tendrils softly draped, exuding a graceful charm. This, it seemed, had not changed at all. In her voice, disappointment was barely suppressed. She only felt that this attempt had failed. You raised your hand and pointed towards the begonia flower. An exquisite line of text appeared above the petals. You are mistaken. Look closely at the shape of the stamen. Is it not a dragon? Several individuals concentrated their minds and looked closely. The Yi family head even summoned his own nine-heart begonia for comparison. Indeed, it was so. This was a mutated martial soul. It had truly mutated. The Yi family head was both astonished and overjoyed. His voice trembled. Yang Langlang was even more moved to tears by gratitude. This great favor was too profound for the Yeg family. A wave of emotion surged within her heart. She rushed forward, wanting to embrace you to express her thanks. Her lips even reached for your cheek. Yet, her body seemed to pass right through you. The figure she touched in her embrace was far more slender than its outward appearance, and there was a sensation of sharp, spiky edges against her chest. That was certainly no human hand, but sharp claws like a fierce beast. Ye Langlang seemed to embed herself within your form. This made the Ye family head, standing nearby, gape in shock. Elder Shu's expression changed drastically. He inwardly cried out, "This is not good!" Your human form was originally just an illusory image condensed from mist. Once physically touched, it would immediately be exposed. Having calculated countless possibilities, he had never anticipated the secret would be revealed in such a manner. Embraced tightly by Ye Langlang, you felt not the slightest panic. Your dragon body took advantage of the situation and coiled around her. The misty illusion dissipated, revealing your true form as a black dragon. The Yi family head had lived for more than half his life, having witnessed all manner of bizarre forms and eccentric individuals. His temperament had long since become calm and steady. Although startled by your form for a moment, he quickly deduced the origin of the situation. Ye Langlang, whose temperament was inherently cold and solitary, seeing that you were, in fact, a true dragon, quickly regained her composure. Immediately, her cheeks flushed crimson. You were now tightly coiled around her. Such intimate contact made her heart pound incessantly. Senior Xu, young maester, is he a true dragon? Patriarch Yi pointed towards the protagonist and spoke, his tone filled with shock and awe. A true dragon has appeared in the world. Who on earth possesses the capability to actually cultivate a true dragon? Then Huyet bowed his head. As you can see, I understand. Senior Thi Huyet, young master. My daughter and I will certainly keep this matter absolutely secret. Furthermore, Patriarch Yi looked towards the protagonist coiling around his daughter, his tone gentle. To be able to integrate a martial soul with the dragon clan's bloodline, it must be that the young maester earlier infused his own dragon blood into Ye Lingling's body, which caused her martial soul to undergo such a miraculous transformation. The young master did not hesitate to expend his own essence to break the curse for the Yang family. How could we possibly repay such kindness with enmity? Regardless of whether the curse can be completely eliminated, to be able to make the nine-heart begonia martial soul evolve, my Ye family is willing to wholeheartedly submit to the young master. With that, he knelt down on both knees, his expression earnest. Young master, I vow to serve you my entire life, to repay the kindness you have shown to the Ye family. Ye Lingling also knelt down accordingly, her tone sincere. The protagonist's mouth curled up, and he let out a joyful roar, condensing the water mist into words. From now on, the two of you will be responsible for refining pills for this dragon, and serving this dragon well. There will be no lack of benefits for you. Having revealed his true form, the protagonist no longer bothered to conceal himself. His ambition to conquer flowed forth, completely unconcealed. Many thanks, young master. The two of them could not contain their excitement. With a true dragon's assistance, the day the martial soul curse would be broken was only a matter of time. Furthermore, this dragon, though appearing youthful and inexperienced, was astonishingly intelligent and quick-witted. Patriarch Ye even believed that the method for the profound water pill was not some incomplete formula, but was personally deduced by the protagonist. The protagonist was exceedingly joyful as he slithered and coiled around Ye Lingling's body, when he suddenly remembered something. Her body is still too weak. Find a quiet room. I will help her strengthen her physique so she can absorb more dragon blood. Ye Lingling's cheeks flushed red, but after a moment's thought, dragons are inherently fond of coiling and climbing. This is their natural instinct. So she no longer felt conflicted or embarrassed, and joyfully led the protagonist to her boudoir. Today, she had only absorbed a trace of dragon blood, and her martial soul had already evolved. If she could absorb a bit more, she might undergo a complete transformation. Ye Lingling's room was simply furnished but exceptionally clean and refreshing. It exuded a sense of immense comfort. The protagonist took out a piece of golden jade, which floated in mid-air. This is 10,000-year golden jade. Melt it with fire, and then consume it. 10,000-year golden jade? Isn't this an aphrodisiac? Ye Lingling was startled and astonished. She came from a pill-refining family, and thoroughly understood the medicinal properties of all kinds of herbs. Golden jade is a heaven and earth treasure. To use it as an aphrodisiac would truly be a colossal waste. It can enhance physical resilience, fortify the meridians, and help you withstand higher-level spirit rings. The protagonist snorted dismissively through his nose as characters swirled and hovered around him. Ye Lingling's eyes widened significantly. So golden jade possessed such miraculous effects. Those who previously only used it as an aphrodisiac were truly wasting precious treasures. Without a shred of doubt regarding the protagonist's words, she took out a small, exquisite furnace, melted the golden jade, and swallowed it in one gulp. As soon as it reached her throat, a scorching wave swept through her entire body. Yang energy surged, intensely oppressive. The heat was like raging flames, and sweat that had just emerged was instantly vaporized by the high temperature. Ye Lingling gripped her clothes tightly, unable to resist the urge to strip them off. But then she reconsidered. Your human form was male, and your true body was a male dragon, so to loosen her clothes and unfasten her belt like that would be too improper. The heat grew increasingly intense, and her consciousness gradually blurred. Finally, she decisively cast aside all reservations. After all, it was just a dragon, not of her own kin, so what was there to be shy about? She could no longer bear this scorching heat, and fiercely tore off the clothes on her body. At this moment, Ye Lingling's entire body was crimson, like a cooked shrimp. You created a layer of water mist that enveloped her body, rapidly drawing away the medicinal heat. Her skin gradually regained its pristine whiteness. You lowered your head and licked her skin. After the previous refinement, her skin was now pristine white and flawless, like a strawberry buttercream cake, carrying an enchanting, delicate fragrance. Your dragon body coiled tightly around her. The sensation was indescribably profound. Unfortunately, you had only hatched less than half a year ago, so you could not engage in any overly intimate actions. A human infant still needed breast milk after birth, and your current state was not much different. The circumstances were fundamentally incompatible. Half a day later, you had given all of the myriad-year gold to Ye Lingling for her to consume, and helped her integrate a significant amount of your essence blood. Her martial spirit grew even stronger. When it was all over, Ye Lingling recalled herself, naked and entwined by you, and her face flushed crimson, as if about to bleed. She originally did not mind your dragon identity, but your unmasked human form was so dashing and soul-stirring that she couldn't help but feel her heart race uncontrollably. Even speaking felt somewhat unnatural. You, on the other hand, felt completely refreshed and invigorated. Today was a truly satisfying day of play. You patted Ye Lingling's body, and the water mist script reappeared once more. During these days, diligently temper your physique. Wait until you have absorbed all the power within your body. I will then help you integrate dragon blood. In the future, there will be many more days like this. Xiaohei, where did you go to play today? Quickly tell mother. In the evening, as you returned to the imperial palace, Xianxia immediately embraced you, holding you close to her chest, her eyes curved into a smile. However, her expression suddenly changed, and she sniffed. Her willow-like brows furrowed slightly, and her profound gaze stared intently at you. A cold gaze that seemed to pierce through your very soul. Xiaohei, you have the scent of another woman on you. Explain yourself to mother. Did you go around acknowledging mothers indiscriminately? Originally, you were finding it hard to breathe under Xianxu's aura. Upon hearing the last sentence, rage instantly surged within your heart. Who do you think you are? You force everyone you meet to call you mother. You roared once, and directly spat a mouthful of water onto Xianxia. At this moment, Xianxia was only wearing a white, gold-trimmed nightgown. The water made the fabric translucent and cling tightly to her body, perfectly revealing her alluring, undulating curves. You writhed your body, coiling tightly around Xianxia to express your dissatisfaction. How dare she be so arrogant? Was she looking down on someone? Is this how one conquers women? By licking heels? This brat is still angry. Quickly tell mother. Who were you associating with outside? And did you expose your identity? Don't you know your identity is extremely dangerous? Xianxia wore a worried expression, her tone carrying a lecturing implication. You used mist to condense characters that appeared before her. What danger? As if I'd be afraid of them. Quickly take me to the Po Branch clan. I want to find Yang Wudi. I want all of their alchemy achievements. An aura of fearing neither heaven nor earth. Xianxia frowned after reading. This dragon truly understood nothing. There are countless formidable individuals in this world. Are you truly not afraid of being captured and forged into a spirit ring? Yet, deep down,
She was profoundly moved.
She gently stroked his head, her voice softening. Xiao He, I know you wish to swiftly concoct a profound water pill and aid me, but this matter cannot be rushed. It must proceed gradually. To suddenly move against the Destruction Clan would incite immense turmoil.
Allow me to act. Not a single member of the Destruction Clan shall escape, Xianxia replied, a hint of exasperation in her voice. Xiao He, I know you are formidable, but the forces I can mobilize here are limited, and I cannot remain away from Heaven Dao for too long. Cease your antics and behave yourself.
Xianxia sternly refused. Actions cannot be overly reckless. One must plan meticulously to maximize benefits.
The sudden disappearance of the Destruction Clan would inevitably lead others to suspect the Spirit Hall. This blame absolutely cannot fall upon us. It would cause the remaining factions to descend into panic and fear.
They would then form factions to resist the Spirit Hall.
That is not the outcome she desires.
Xiao He gestured, conveying that the current might of the Spirit Hall was such that even if the entire continent united, they could not prevail against it.
Should he join, titled Douluo without their own domains would be instantly annihilated.
With him leading the Spirit Hall, they could effortlessly sweep across the entire continent.
What need was there for such rampant caution? Alas, at present, he was still merely a dragon. His individual strength was still too meager. Otherwise, he alone would have already raised every faction on the continent. For now, he could only cause mischief around Heavendew City and the minor factions nearby, such as the Nine-Heart Begonia clan of the Poison Douluo, which he had already subdued.
Liu Erlong,
imprisoned at Blue Tyrant Academy, had also fallen under his influence. Next were the Strength clan and the Three-Spirit Douluo of the Heavendew Imperial family.
Bringing them all under his command would indeed constitute a considerable force.
As these thoughts raced through his mind, Xiao He snuggled into Xianxia's embrace. She, however, remained unwilling to assist him. The subsequent steps would necessitate his own meticulous planning. Seeing him finally quiet down, she too breathed a sigh of relief.
Should he cause further disturbance, it would significantly jeopardize her intricate plans. Perhaps, in the coming days, she should simply confine him within the imperial palace, forbidding him from venturing outside.
However, upon reconsideration, he was now enrolled as a student at Blue Tyrant Academy. Could she truly prevent him from attending his classes? Ultimately, she could not bring herself to curtail his freedom. Yet, as she held him while they slept, she consistently felt as though she had overlooked something crucial.
Her nose twitched, detecting the faint, lingering scent of a young maiden upon him. Blast it all, this brat had clearly deceived her into overlooking something. What precisely had this young rascal been doing outside? Had he gone and charmed some other family's daughter?
But at that very moment, Xiao He was sleeping soundly, so Xianxia could only suppress the rising fury in her heart. She decided to sleep first and interrogate him tomorrow. The next day, our protagonist returned to Lanba Academy. After pondering for a moment, he felt it would be better to still focus on this academy. For Lanba to completely annex the Heavenly Dao Imperial Academy, wouldn't those 3 old soul Douluos there also become his subordinates? But first, he needed to raise the strength of Lanba's students.
The current students were too weak, completely unable to uphold the academy's reputation. Even with cultivation now, they would amount to nothing. He should directly find talented individuals to join. For example, Ye Lengleng, and while he was at it, bring over Dugu Yan, the granddaughter of Poison Douluo Dugu Bo.
If her spirit evolved using the Earth Dragon Golden Fruit, her talent would certainly not be inferior to Tang San and his group. But even so, there were still too few people. He needed to uncover more geniuses. He didn't know how long it would be until Tang San and his group would arrive at Heavenly Dao City. If he poached Zhu Zhu King, Ning Rongrong, and Xiao Wu, he could assemble an extremely powerful team. Lanba Academy.
Many teachers were respectfully bowing to Liu Erlong.
Dean, you said there was an important matter. What is it? Liu Erlong placed her hand on our protagonist's shoulder beside her. Our academy has recently gained an outstanding student. Everyone must already know.
Xuanqing's abilities are very strong. He can lead our academy to take another step forward.
Recently, I need to enter seclusion for a period. For now, I will let him manage Lanba Academy in my stead. Hearing this, the teachers looked at our protagonist with admiring gazes, completely without a shred of doubt.
Even Liu Erlong had acknowledged him, which greatly delighted them.
They uniformly promised to cooperate well with our protagonist's management. After the teachers left, Liu Erlong's figure dissolved like smudged ink, and the figure of Poison Douluo appeared beside our protagonist.
Xuanqing wants to gain control of Lanba.
What do you intend to do?
It turned out that the words just spoken were all fabricated, a scene staged by our protagonist and Poison Douluo.
Liu Erlong was currently still imprisoned in the basement. How could she ever cooperate to say such words? Our protagonist did not reply, merely using bones of water to form a map. Words appeared at a waterfall in this area. If you search there, you will discover a hidden cave behind the waterfall. Bring the blue silvergrass root from within back to me. If you are lucky, You might also find a 100,000-year spirit bone. That place is Saint Soul Village. There is a blacksmith in the village. Our protagonist. You want me to bring back all the farming tools that blacksmith has forged over the years? And a 100,000-year spirit bone? Is this true? Poison Douluo was utterly astonished. That is a 100,000-year spirit bone. In this world, how many possess such a truly precious treasure? Our protagonist. You truly trust me. Are you not afraid I would seize that spirit bone and then run off? As if seeing through the elder's thoughts. Even the 100,000-year spirit bone you emanated was not as precious. The immortal herbs in the ice and fire yin-yang, well, there was no need to remind him. Poison Douluo would absolutely not touch your spirit core. Although his temper was eccentric, and he stopped at nothing to achieve his goals. Once he made a promise, he would surely fulfill it. Having become an elder of Spirit Hall, he was truly devoted. You were a dragon raised by the young master of Spirit Hall. Your power was exceedingly rare, and in the future, you would certainly be Spirit Hall's treasure. Simply because spirit beasts possessed exceptionally long lifespans. Later, within Spirit Hall, as long as no one developed malicious intent to claim you as a spirit ring, you would become a guardian divine beast of the sect, powerful enough to protect Spirit Hall for countless generations. He thought of the Jade Scale family's spirit, which still needed to be maintained and continued. If anyone dared to provoke this esteemed individual, their descendants would certainly face dire consequences. That was not something Poison Douluo wanted to see. Now that he was an elder of Spirit Hall, he had to wholeheartedly devote himself to working for Spirit Hall to bring abundant status and glory to his descendants. After bidding farewell, Poison Douluo hastily set off. The poison backlash in his body had now been completely resolved, and there was nothing left to worry about. He could wholeheartedly roam freely everywhere. After Poison Douluo departed, you summoned all the teachers and students. To make Lanbei Academy stronger and its reputation more resounding, it not only needed talented teachers, but also outstanding students. You intended to personally guide this group of people to cultivate a generation of outstanding disciples, so that they could uphold the Academy's reputation. Ye Lengleng, who referred to you as Brother Quan, also moved to Lanba Academy. She quickly ran to your front, her cheeks flushed pink. You are Quan Qing, whom grandfather often mentions. Du Guyan slowly walked over, observing you with curiosity. But because you wore a mask, she could not discern your appearance. Looking at her close friend Ye Lengleng, Xianxia's face was dazed. This man was capable of moving a cold beauty like Lengleng. Regardless of his power or appearance, he must be outstandingly exceptional, right? Even her grandfather did not cease praising you, and even made her transfer schools all the way here. She grew even more curious about the hidden countenance behind that mask. You only subtly nodded to Duguyan, then swept your gaze over the hundreds of teachers and students below, glancing at the most outstanding students of this batch. Tai Long, Jiang Zhu, Huang Yuan, Jing Ling. These four individuals were all merely three-ring spirit elders. You believed you could train them very well, and simultaneously ensure that their fourth spirit rings all absorbed 10,000-year spirit rings. Having such formidable four students would certainly attract more talents to the academy. The rest were teachers, 2 spirit emperors, and 5 spirit kings. This arrangement was already quite satisfactory. You still did not know how to speak, and using sound simulating items was too troublesome. Thus, you used the bone screen to form a large display to communicate with them. The message was concise. Special training would commence in the coming days. Your strength had already been widely rumored throughout the academy these past few days. It was even rumored that Dean Liu Erlong herself wished to accept you as a disciple. For ordinary Soulmaster students, special training by a powerful expert was a sky-high aspiration. All of them simultaneously cheered with joy. This was truly their Lanba Academy. The students were all well-behaved children who knew how to support each other. Your training program was actually quite simple. It not only tempered the body but also honed spiritual power. After all, to absorb a 10,000-year spirit ring at the 4-ring stage, even Tang San of this era, who possessed twin martial spirits and cultivated mental strength with the purple demon eye, almost succumbed. For this group to absorb spirit rings above their level, it could only be described as exceedingly difficult. At that time, the concept of spiritual power was not yet widespread, and their spiritual power was tragically fragile, making your training a monumental challenge. Without 1 to 2 years, it would be difficult to see results. If only there was a cultivation technique for spiritual power, how wonderful that would be. Tang San's purple demon eye is quite good. A way must be found to acquire it. When will Tang San arrive here, I wonder? You were beginning to feel somewhat idle? After all, you possessed your own method for cultivating spiritual power, simply transforming bones into various illusory realms, allowing these youths to experience the cruelty of life, witnessing their family members being slaughtered firsthand, personally experiencing death. Each time they were tortured, they would endure terrifying impacts. Their spiritual power would be further sharpened and toughened, and their combat experience would also increase. After all, life and death struggles are not easily encountered in the real world. Even in the soul arena, battles are merely fair exchanges, unlike these simulated misty scenes where the protagonist falls into peril, surrounded by enemies, severely wounded themselves, and even forced to drag down friends and family. It is precisely these desperate circumstances that push people to break through and grow. Let Tang-san live another lifetime. He only knows how to constantly court death. Here, the growth rate is much faster. HMPH. Quan Gurge, I'm sorry I couldn't save you again. Ye Langling's face was filled with sorrow. She was personally enduring such a tragic, illusory realm. Her illusory realm mission was to protect you from being killed and having your spirit ring stolen by powerful soul masters. But the desperate situation within was exceedingly real and tragic. No matter how much she struggled, she ultimately met with defeat. Are you sick? Is this how one treats the living? How many times have I already died? On the other side, Duguyan was seething with rage, despite being the granddaughter of a titled Douluo. Having come this far, she again had to endure such torture. Furthermore, after her martial spirit evolved, her spirit power had already surpassed the 40 mark, leaving her with ample strength to absorb another spirit ring. Yet our protagonist adamantly refused to let her absorb it, instead insisting she undergo a training session first. Still unconvinced? Our protagonist had no respect for Duguyan, let alone her grandfather. The poisoned Douluo himself was no match for our protagonist. Why would he fear a mere young girl who hadn't even wiped her nose clean? If not for my grandfather, why would this young lady listen to you? Duguyan haughtily retorted. Unconvinced, are you? I'll beat you until you submit. True to his word, our protagonist unleashed a powerful jet of water, pinning Duguyan firmly to the ground. Humiliated before the crowd, Duguyan immediately unleashed her martial spirit. It was a dark green serpent, with dragon horns upon its head, but no claws, the jade scale serpent emperor. But even after unleashing that ferocious martial spirit, she was utterly unable to struggle free from our protagonist's pressure, reduced to merely lying prostrate and drooling, wriggling helplessly, just like a dying dog. Our protagonist never showed anyone mercy. A beautiful and vibrant maiden like Duguyan was pinned firmly to the ground for an entire day, before dozens of onlookers. Duguyan had long felt aggrieved and cried until her tears ran dry. This public humiliation was 1,000 times more bitter than any illusory realm, serving as the special care our protagonist bestowed upon her. Witnessing this scene, no other student dared to utter a single complaint. Duguyan was the cherished granddaughter of a titled Douluo, after all. These others were merely humble commoners. How could they dare to speak up? Moreover, they gradually realized that these bone-piercingly painful training exercises were, in fact, incredibly effective. Such rigorous cultivation was truly substantial. A few more days passed, and finally, the poisoned Douluo returned with the blue-silver emperor root and a spirit bone, along with all the farming tools Tang Hao had forged in Holy Spirit Village. These tools would prove useful later on. Next, our protagonist brought the blue-silver emperor into the ice and fire yin-yang well, intending to resurrect the blue-silver emperor and make Yin recognize Tang Hao's true nature. This would easily allow him to ultimately subdue a 100,000-year-old being. This blue-silver grass is truly peculiar. The poisoned Douluo was extremely curious. This is not ordinary blue-silver grass. This is the emperor of blue-silver grass. The blue-silver emperor. Our protagonist didn't bother to explain much to the old man, then promptly sent him away. Our protagonist was planning to accelerate its growth rate. He desired for the blue-silver emperor to grow extremely fast. The most crucial factor in recovering its power was that soul bone. Within the soul bone was contained nearly half of the blue-silver emperor's energy. After absorbing it, she would recover a significant portion of her power. Currently, possessing the dragon cores of 2 great dragon kings, our protagonist could freely control the primal energy of heaven and earth here, when placing the soul bone close to the blue-silver emperor's roots. This plant species, which rarely saw sunlight, began to absorb frantically. The soul bone seemed to be an inherent part of its body. It drained the natural power completely, like a thirsty person drinking water. Our protagonist simultaneously activated the ice and fire dual polarity spring, channeling the essence energy of heaven and earth directly into the plant's body. In addition, he stuffed several portions of rare and exotic poisonous herbs directly into its roots, regardless of their properties, to control it more easily. Our protagonist even mixed in some true dragon's bloodline as well. Very quickly, its branches and leaves became thick, strong, and robust. Its cultivation roughly reached 50,000 years, but it was unclear whether this was due to the spiritual herbs, cross-reaction, the dragon blood stimulation, or because she had previously transformed into human form. Just after recovering 50,000 years of cultivation, the blue-silver emperor coiled into a gigantic cocoon, then tore through it and emerged. She was a young girl, with long, sea-blue hair reaching her waist. Who are you? At this moment, the young blue-silver emperor's soul had not fully recovered, and her expression was utterly bewildered and adorable. Silly little girl, who else could I be? I am your master. I saved you. From now on, be obedient. Condensed steam formed into lines of text, appearing clearly before little Yin. The little one stared blankly, finding it quite vexing that she couldn't read. Our protagonist had no choice but to coil around her tiny body. How should one put it? Although she wasn't soft and milky scented, her body was delicately soft and yielding, as if she had no bones at all, which made our protagonists feel a peculiar strangeness. Little Yin didn't struggle at all, instead curiously shifting her gaze to look at the pitch-black dragon coiled around her. From the black dragon's body, the little girl sensed an extremely close connection. Because she had just been fed dragon blood, she now regarded our protagonist as her very own flesh and blood. Suddenly, she seemed to understand something and immediately called out, "Mother!" Our protagonist almost spurted a mouthful of blood. What the devil is this? It was one thing for Xianxia to claim to be his mother, but now this little one was calling him mother too. This was truly outrageous. HMPH. I have no leisure to be a mother. He glared fiercely at little Yin, his eyes wide, and firm words appeared. Do not call me that. You must call me master. Master? What do those words mean? This little girl, who didn't know even a single character, just tilted her small, foolish head. She let out a mighty roar, scaring the child, who trembled uncontrollably with tears welling in her eyes, as if about to cry. The child did not understand why she had angered her mother. Mother? I am scared, Xiao Yin shrieked, bursting into heart-wrenching sobs. The annoyance was beyond measure. If she hit her, she feared the child would cry even harder, and scolding her would be useless, as the child wouldn't understand a thing. She was speechless, helpless. She took out clothes for the child to wear, then called Douluo to come over. Douluo noticed a familiar aura of the blue-silver emperor emanating from the child, his face revealing a look of astonishment. This must be the transformed blue-silver emperor, and she must be in trouble. Sir, help me discipline this child. What kind of trouble? Douluo was bewildered. What could possibly trouble you? Don't you always suppress things with brute force? It is rumored that when teaching at Lanba, your grandson merely acted a little impetuously, and was utterly humiliated, and put in his place by you for an entire afternoon, before countless onlookers. I heard whispers that you are extremely domineering. Mother, who is this? Xiao Yin's eyes widened as she looked at the old man and asked. Douluo, upon hearing this, suppressed his laughter, nearly suffering internal injuries. It turned out this blue-silver emperor sprout, after transforming, had lost its memories. Seeing the first person who appeared, she mistakenly believed her to be her birth mother. This is truly interesting. Tell her not to call me mother. She must call me master. The annoyance swirled into a palpable vortex, spinning before Douluo's eyes. Douluo started, hurriedly hiding his playful expression. This dragon was incredibly fierce. One should not be foolish enough to anger her. He then nodded his head, pointing towards her as he gently coaxed Xiao Yin. Good child, this is not your mother. She is your master. She is your master, understand? Xiao Yin looked confused, not yet understanding. But what is a mother master? Growl. Our protagonist roared impatiently, startling Xiao Yin to the verge of tears. Sensing the precarious situation, the poisoned Douluo immediately decided to go all in. Calling him master will surely appease his anger. Repeat after me. Call him master. He stroked his beard, his eyes crinkling in a friendly smile. Xiao Yin vaguely understood the general meaning, and hesitantly tried to call out, Master! Only then did our protagonist gently caress and pat the small head with their claw, as a form of praise. But as Xiao Yin accidentally blurted out the word mother, it was abruptly cut off by a growl. The little one panicked, and immediately corrected herself. Master! Our protagonist joyfully stroked her beautiful hair. Xiao Yin was intelligent and quick-witted. Xiao Yin quickly grasped the rules of survival, while the poisoned Douluo watched our protagonist effortlessly subdue a young blue-silver emperor, his heart filled with admiration. These two powerful beings had lived for tens of thousands of years, and with these two divine beasts guarding and protecting the spirit hall, it would be difficult for the spirit hall not to soar to unprecedented heights. And he then cast his gaze upon our protagonist, that little fellow with such an earth-shattering desire for conquest. Surely the 200,000-year-old soul beasts residing in the Stardew Great Forest would find it difficult to escape our protagonist's grasp. Truly the future prospects, no matter, for he had already completely submitted now, and accumulated immense goodwill with our protagonists, waiting for our protagonist to achieve widespread fame later. The resources and rewards distributed to him and his family estate would surely be too numerous to count, unlike the old script where the poisoned Douluo tragically died in battle at Jialing Pass, his unique emerald phosphor serpent martial spirit becoming utterly extinct from the continent's map. Big brother, where is this place? Xiao Yin looked around with big, round, clear eyes. Our protagonist could not open their mouth to speak, and even if words were written, the child could not decipher half a character, so they could only grasp the little girl and head directly towards Blue Overlord Academy Square. Big brother, your claw scratches me sorely. This tender, supple skin, like tofu, is truly not suited for those small, troublesome claws. Our protagonists thought to themselves that perhaps they should tie a wet rope around her neck and lead her along leisurely. The poisoned Douluo instructed Xiao Yin to be careful when venturing into crowded places under many gazes. She must call our protagonist Big Brother instead of Master, lest the common folk see and gossip, judging our protagonist as an immoral pervert preying on the innocent. Xiao Yin strolled along leisurely, very quickly arriving at the training grounds where the students were cultivating. Xiao Yin had never seen so many people before, her eyes blinking like stars as she continuously gazed everywhere. Brother Xuan, where did such an adorable little girl come from? Who is this child? As soon as she saw Xiao Yin, Ye Lengleng immediately reached out and pinched her rosy, plump cheeks. Our protagonist condensed water droplets to form words. Her name is Xiao Yin, and from now on she will also be a member of your group. Such a tiny child. Are you going to throw her into our demonic purgatory? Du Guyan's eyes widened in shock, secretly roaring in her heart. This fellow is truly a devilish brute. With a sharp glance, Du Guyan immediately shrank her neck and became obedient. She would never dare to provoke our protagonist again, fearing she would be dragged out and ruthlessly ground into the dirt once more. Lengleng, from now on you will take this little one to train. This girl is also a support-type healer, just like you. With that said, he tossed Xiao Yin to Ye Lengleng, stating that carrying this little burden around would only be troublesome and tiresome. At the same time, his paper fan waved, and text appeared, instructing that teaching her to read and write was the most important task. Ye Lengleng hurriedly nodded, then curiously looked at Xiao Yin. What was Xiao Yin's true identity after all? Why was she already so grown up yet still illiterate? Xiao Yin was also very intelligent. After only a few days, she recognized many characters. With that, the next step could begin. Taking Xiao Yin away from Blue Tyrant Academy, the poisoned Douluo was already waiting outside. The three headed straight for Heavendew City's southern district, stopping before an estate to observe it from the outside. This estate covered a vast area. The courtyard wall at the back was over 4 meters high, and the main gatehouse towered majestically. Before the estate's entrance stood 2 stone statues, which were miniature versions of Titan giants. At the gate, 2 tall, burly men stood guard. They stood imposingly, like 2 guardian deities, their formidable aura looking down upon the passers-by on the street. On the gatehouse hung a large horizontal plaque. On the plaque was a single, large character, proclaiming their arrival at the Power Clan. Titan, the leader of the Power Clan, was an immensely powerful 8-ring Douluo. Although a loyal subordinate of Tang Hao, he could still be thoroughly utilized. The poisoned Douluo had brought with him items Tang Hao had created in Holy Spirit Village over the years, specifically intending to deal with the Power Clan. Upon reaching the gate, the three were immediately stopped by the burly men. The poisoned Douluo let out a soft snort and directly unleashed his titled Douluo aura. This was not to make things difficult for the 2 guards, but merely to attract Titan from within. Titan was an old man with graying hair, short like steel needles, each strand standing erect on his head. His eyes held a profound gaze, and as he stood there, he exuded an unangered yet imposing majesty. Your Excellency, the poisoned Douluo. Titan, recognizing the poisoned Douluo's identity, immediately grew vigilant and hastily asked, Your Excellency, what business brings you to our Power Clan? The Power Clan was once one of the 4 great affiliated sects of the Clear Sky sect. I hear, Titan, that you are Tang Hao's most loyal subordinate. The poisoned Douluo spoke plainly, and Titan's gaze turned unfriendly. What is your intention? Do you recognize this item? With that, the poisoned Douluo threw out a small hammer, one that had been forged by Tang Hao himself. Titan merely glanced at it, and his eyes immediately welled up. Both being blacksmiths, they knew that each person's forged weapons possessed their own unique characteristics. Outsiders to the craft would not understand, but those within the trade would know who crafted it upon sight. This old servant was all too familiar with Tang Hao. What lay before his eyes was truly a tool forged by his master. Do you know where the master is? Titan gazed at Dugu Douluo, filled with anticipation. He desperately wanted to know Tang Hao's whereabouts. Tang Hao is so formidable, how could this old man know where he is? Dugu Douluo said haughtily. Then, Your Excellency, a titled Douluo like yourself surely hasn't come to seek me out without a purpose? Titan, seeing through the veiled intentions, said, Bring the young lady beside you forward. Titan looked over, and his eyes suddenly trembled. Why does this Xiao Yin's face resemble that person's so closely? Young lady, release your martial soul. Dugu Douluo smiled faintly. Xiao Yin blinked, then released her blue-silver grass. However, this blue-silver grass was different from the ordinary. It bore faint, golden patterns. This is the blue-silver emperor, young lady. Who exactly are you? Titan already harbored a conjecture in his heart. The blue-silver emperor, coupled with a face identical to Yin's. She is Tang Hao's daughter. You must have guessed by now, haven't you? Dugu Douluo said indifferently. The master's daughter? Titan's entire body trembled.
He had seen Xue Yin and her martial soul before, but of the events that transpired afterward, Titan was completely unaware. After Tang Hao fell out with Spirit Hall, he immediately went into hiding.
Titan did not know Xue Yin was a spirit beast, nor was he aware of her sacrifice. He merely thought Tang Hao and Xue Yin had gone into hiding, and thus assumed this Xiao Yin before him must be their child, born in the intervening years.
Afterward, Titan hastily knelt on one knee before the young lady. This old servant pays respects to young mistress. The master must have used this method to bring you to this old servant's side, surely intending for me to exert my full efforts.
If that is the case, then my strength clan will return to the master's command without the slightest hesitation. Though the master is not present today, we still have the young mistress.
From this day forward, the strength clan shall be your loyal adherents.
Our clan has a total of 217 young and strong spirit masters, all willing to risk their lives for the young mistress. The young lady, having been instructed beforehand, and even rehearsing at the Blue Tyrant Academy, displayed a very natural expression. She then looked at Titan and said, "Father told me to refine a type of medicinal pill, but we do not have enough personnel. Grandpa Titan, do you have a way to help us?" The clan skilled in medicinal pill refinement is the Breaking Clan. However, that year, the Breaking Clan was the most tragically persecuted by Spirit Hall. They all believed that calamity was brought upon them by the master. Young master, persuading them to help us might be somewhat difficult.
Titan displayed a troubled expression upon hearing this. Please follow us. Xue Yin instructed Titan to lead him to the Nine-Heart Begonia clan.
Titan knew that the Nine-Heart Begonia clan was currently refining the profound water pill. Upon hearing of its medicinal efficacy, he was greatly shocked. If this medicinal pill were to be unveiled, it would certainly cause a sensation.
His heart surged with emotion.
He never expected that his clan's master, who had been missing for many years, would secretly arrange so many matters. Not only had he subdued the poisoned Douluo, but he had also compelled the Nine-Heart Begonia clan to focus intently on pill refining. However, relying solely on the Nine-Heart Begonia clan's alchemy capabilities, they were still unable to produce the profound water pill. The assistance of the Breaking Clan was essential.
Yet years ago, the Breaking Clan suffered catastrophic losses because of Tang Hao. Yang Wudi's own younger brother was even captured by the Spirit Hall and branded a traitor. Yang Wudi harbored a deep-seated hatred for Tang Hao. Any negotiation led by Tang Hao himself would be utterly futile. Only Titan could step forward. Titan, keenly aware of the gravity of this matter, immediately assured them he would certainly persuade Yang Wudi.
The effects of the profound water pill were simply astonishing. Most soul masters halted their progress at the titled Douluo realm, with their innate talent being the root cause. This medicinal pill could both enhance innate soul power and unblock meridians, significantly accelerating cultivation speed and substantially increasing the probability of breaking through to the titled Douluo realm.
Even if Yang Wudi harbored hatred for Tang Hao, he could not help but consider his clansman. It was highly probable that he would be persuaded. Soon after, Titan brought Xue Yin to
Strength Clan, introducing her identity to the descendants and several soul sage powerhouses. He strictly ordered everyone to be loyal to her from then on, ensuring her complete protection even if he were no longer present.
This was the young master of their Strength Clan. As everything progressed smoothly, a slight smile played on his lips as he awaited the opportune moment. Zhu Quan Titan, you will control the remaining members of the Strength Clan. Several days later, Yang Wudi was indeed persuaded by Titan and arrived.
His gaze still held enmity as he looked at Xue Yin, but the terms had already been agreed upon with Titan. After the profound water pill was successfully refined, the Breaking Clan would claim a share. For every 10 pills refined, 1 would belong to them. This was by no means a small benefit.
In the future, once the profound water pill was mass-produced, with hundreds or thousands of pills refined, the quantity received by the Breaking Clan would be more than their clansmen could consume.
They could even sell the surplus externally. Such immense benefits
were enough for Yang Wudi to temporarily suppress his enmity towards Tang Hao.
Xianxia refused to help. Yet you have ample means to resolve this. Now that 2 great mono-attribute clans have joined the fray, will the remaining 2 clans be far behind? The Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng of the Minzihe clan will sooner or later be yours for the takings, as will the White Agarwood of the Minzihe clan, fragrant and soft. Its taste will surely be excellent. Of course, most of the things you do are right under the eyes of those who crave blood, fundamentally impossible to hide.
Xianxia was also quite surprised, not expecting your desire for conquest to be so strong, nor your mind so agile, that you could even unearth the trump card left by Tang San's mother.
Seeing your power grow stronger by the day, she decisively ordered Spirit Hall to continue its suppression. The 4 great clans pressured these individuals, quickly drawing them closer to the Nine-Heart Begonia clan. Embracing the group, she said, "Xiao He, you have grown up. Mother will no longer hinder your actions. Whatever ideas you have, just tell Mother, and Mother will surely support you.
Qian Rengsu clearly saw your tactics and immediately began to invest heavily, only wishing for your power to develop even faster.
You also unceremoniously used water mist to condense the words, Star Dao Great Forest. There are 2 great forest kings there. This dragon wishes to go there and fight a proper battle, to let them know who the true sovereign is. Xiaohe, do you wish to act personally, or shall Mother assist you? With your current strength, dealing with them would be very difficult.
Qinian Rengshu's voice was gentle. She added, soul beasts are not like humans. To make them sincerely submit, one must rely on strength to defeat them.
If you rely on external aid, they will sooner or later rebel. You pondered slightly, and feeling it made sense, immediately nodded. Then let those 2 fools live freely for another 2 years. In 2 years, Xiaohe is truly confident. Mother believes in you.
Qian Rengshu laughed heartily.
Your growth speed is astonishingly fast.
She was extremely satisfied. You temporarily had no other arrangements, so you calculated the time.
The Shrek 7 devils would also arrive soon. You had to find a way to obtain the cultivation technique in Tang San's hands. Although the mysterious heaven art was merely a cultivation method from the martial arts world, when placed in a place like the Douluo continent, it was still of great use to ordinary soul masters.
Furthermore, what you cared about most were the Shrek 3 beauties. Conquering them would be truly interesting.
Indeed, not many days passed. While you were conducting special training for the people of Blue Tyrant Academy, the group from Shrek Academy arrived to report. The ones originally in charge were 3 Soul Kings. The teachers who appeared had no imposing aura whatsoever. Upon seeing Flender's group of Soul Saints and Soul Emperors, they were so scared they couldn't speak fluently. Currently, you were the acting dean of Blue Tyrant Academy, and you intended to thoroughly test this group of teachers and students.
Big Brother Dai, the girls from this Blue Tyrant Academy look quite pretty.
Aren't those the 2 girls from the Imperial fighting team we defeated?
I didn't expect our vanquished foes to be here too.
Hee brother, look, there's also an adorable young girl over there. You led Dugu Yan, Ye Lingling, Jiang Zhu, and Xiao Ai as you approached. Ma Hongjun stared intently at the girls. His eyes wide. He could not tear his gaze away. He did not speak loudly, but everyone present was a soul master. They heard every word clearly, and the faces of the Blue Tyrant Academy group immediately darkened. Even the other teachers revealed awkward expressions. After all, they had come seeking refuge, and this plump individual had spoken extremely disrespectfully. Fu Lande coughed twice, attempting to change the subject. Ahem, we are teachers and students from Like Academy. Having seen the recruitment announcement at the entrance of your esteemed academy, we are unsure of the requirements for admission. We only accept individuals of upright character, commoners, who do not oppress others. Ask a few questions, and then test their strength. Those who meet the requirements can stay and teach. An elder teacher, with a stern expression, swept his gaze across the group from Lake Academy. I ask, how did your Lake Academy conduct its teaching before? From the time students register until now, please elaborate on all procedures. The examiner in charge.
Yanshu looked directly at the teachers opposite them.
Qin Ming, a junior who graduated from Lake Academy, originally intended to step forward and introduce himself, but was stopped by Fu Lande after just one step. Isn't teaching students all done that way? We post announcements, and those who pass the assessment are accepted.
Fu Land calculated in his heart, considering Qin Ming's straightforward nature. If he were to speak, wouldn't the matter of him annually withholding registration fees without returning them be completely exposed?
Is that all? What about tuition fees? What about the teaching methods? Yin Shu frowned. During an interview, if you can only say that much, without a single point of expertise, how can you possibly pass? Haha, the annual tuition fee is 100 gold spirit coins. With few students, we essentially provide one-on-one tutoring.
Fu Lande's voice held a hint of awkwardness. 100 gold spirit coins a year? Your students must all be nobles, correct?
Our Lanheba Academy does not accept nobles. Many of the surrounding elder teachers revealed expressions of rejection. High-level Soulmaster academies recruit exclusively Rank 1 and Rank 2 Soulmasters. A Rank 1 commoner Soulmaster only earns 12 gold spirit coins a year. They cannot even afford the tuition fees. Although a Rank 2 Soul Master receives 120 gold spirit coins in subsidies each year, their own cultivation already leaves them financially strained. If they had to pay an additional 100 gold spirit coins, they fundamentally would not be able to survive. If students are forced to work extra jobs to earn money, it would inevitably waste a significant amount of their cultivation time. For commoners, this type of academy is fundamentally exploitative. You collect such high fees, so your salary demands are surely not low either. Our Lanba Academy is unable to accept so many elder teachers at once. Yin Shu shook his head, refusing in a subtle tone. Most who demand high salaries possess inflated egos but meager abilities.